for the players.
I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And this is For the Players, the pop culturist PlayStation podcast. Over 40 years of playing PlayStation and 12 plus years in that games meeting. I want to thank you for joining us in this PlayStation conversation.
This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning, except for today, at on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. But if you would like to take part in future conversations with us, you can. Come and check out our socials, Facebook, Discord, Instagram, and X. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/popculturist, where you can watch us record this show live, where you can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can by telling your friends, telling your family about this PlayStation pod. If you are listening to us on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopculturist, as well as our merchandise store, popculturist.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. Now, Max, I'm going to kick things off with a very, very weird question. What's your stance on conspiracy theories?
Depends on the conspiracy.
All right.
And the theorist.
So all these things help.
Yeah, why?
So, I was listening to an episode of Constellations, which is The Last Stand, so Colin Moriarty, Secret Simple's crew, their show. They had part of it, it's a kind of like a general discussion show where they can talk about whatever they want, right? And they'll talk about conspiracy theories. And that's kind of cool. The idea being there are some that people believe that you think are fucking dumb, and then there's the ones that you think have merit to them, or you want to be real.
Like the fact that PlayStation Stars disappeared right as the Days of Play sale went on, so no one could get free points.
Not what I was leading to, but it's pretty on brand. And then, of course, conspiracy theories that you wish were real. So Phoebe and I, my partner, we were just watching it before we started recording here. And then she goes, oh, that reminds me of this documentary that I watched 100 years ago about mermaids. I was like, mermaids aren't fucking real. And she shows me this doco that as of right now, mind you, I'm about like a good 6 minutes in. I'm like, this fucking doco's dumb.
6 minutes.
Mermaids are stupid. It's not going to happen. And I will probably watch it once we're finished here. She goes, like, she's committed. Like, she's like, no, this is a good doco. I'm like, all right, I've watched a bunch of shit docos in my time, so I guarantee you it's probably going to be better than some of the shit ones I've watched. But the whole idea is that there was like some fucking Navy sonar test that made a bunch of whales rock up on a beach in Washington, and apparently they heard this other like call of some animal that wasn't a whale, but it wasn't a whale, it was something else. It was like something I don't know. And then it didn't like, my brain didn't like it, because like the idea of this like, oh, here we go, mute in the chat. Mermaids, or to sailors, manatees. And like, that's my understanding, right? Is like there's sailors out on boats for months on end, seeing a manatee. They're so full of scurvy and have only seen like the other dudes on that boat. Like anything that isn't that dude next to them, I want to smash him. Hence why mermaids are appealing, right? That was my assumption. And then she mentioned, now this is not a shot at my partner, of course. She's incredible. She's amazing. Like she mentions that, apparently that part of the discussion is there's like a divergency from an evolutionary standpoint where like, some monkeys became humans, some became mermaids. I'm like, well, fundamentally that's not actually really possible because our biological structure won't allow for it, and mutation takes millions, tens of thousands, 100,000, millions of years. I'm happy to be proven wrong if this is true, and I will put an update in next week if this conspiracy theory of the mermaids is in fact true.
Okay. Now, you mentioned a documentary. Are you just watching the How I Met Your Mother episode, The Mermaid Theory?
No, but I wish I was, because that would be better. Because I do love How I Met Your Mother all the time. Until that episode where Marshall's dad dies, and I cry endlessly, and then I'm good again, and then I make it a couple more seasons, and then it makes me cry again. That show is ridiculous. But is there a conspiracy theory, Max, that you, no matter what people think, you go, that motherfucker's true? That's real. That's the one.
No, not really.
No?
I tend to be very cynical to most things.
There's nothing. Moon
Not
landing.
really. No. No.
Reverend Puck put Courtney killed Kurt.
Yeah, maybe.
It's possible.
I mean, anything's possible.
Yeah. And then we got discussing the whole principle of like what makes a good conspiracy theory. It's like, you know, just that shadow of a doubt, just that enough doubt to make you go,
Well,
and
mean,
but you you have to have little leaps of logic and. So there's nothing.
I don't know. I think
I know I threw it on you out of nowhere. I was hoping to at least get one out of you.
I think my favorite conspiracy theory is that Hitler's still alive.
Oh, he's long dead. If he was, he's long dead. But the conspiracy that everyone just like all the Nazis just buggered off to Argentina or something. I quite like that one. Not that they escaped, but it's just like it's funny they all just fucked off to one country and it's okay, I suppose.
It's okay.
But yeah, that's what I was thinking about before I walked in this room today.
What was that? Sorry.
That's what I was thinking about before I walked into this room today.
Well, it's funny you brought up mermaids because I stumbled across a hilarious picture last night about mermaids.
Oh no!
I sent it to Ali because it's one of those, you know, the format where it's like your brain is talking to you while you're trying to sleep.
Yes. Oh, is the one when you then up rolling over and have to look at your phone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's starfish have mouths in the middle of their bodies.
Yeah. Oh, is this where Ariel like clearly had like little starfish sucking on her boobies? Absolutely. Absolutely. No doubt.
Good times.
How else would they stay? They might have little suction-y pad thingies like octopus legs and stuff, but no. Octopi, whatever. The one that the conspiracy theory, like it was mentioned in the podcast we were listening to, and I forget about it because it's funny. Like the birds aren't real. That one's pretty funny. And obviously Australia's not real as well. That's a conspiracy theory, which is very confusing to us as we live here.
I'm a big fan of the flat Earth.
But like the thing about the flat Earth for me is like, but if you fly far enough in one direction, you end up back. So what happens?
There's a portal on one side of the map that comes out the other side.
So we're just in like some giant dome of portal.
Mm-hmm.
You know what one conspiracy theory I do miss, that I really miss, and no one's heard about it for years, and all the GPS and stuff that we should have. Why does nothing get fucked up in the Bermuda Triangle anymore? The Matrix theory is also fun. Duty in the chat that we're all living in a giant simulation.
I mean that's 100% true. Think about it. Car can fit 3 people side by side. Bus fits in same lane as car. Bus can fit 5 people.
Damn it. Okay, I'm trying to math that one in my head. Hang on. Okay, I'm thinking out loud. Okay, so buses are inherently a little bit wider. That is absolutely true, but they are a more like a blocky design, which allows for a little bit more surface area because there's not like curved windows and restricting movement. You are crammed pretty close into a back of a car. I'm sure what you've said can be broken by simple mathematics, but at this very second, I don't have the capacity to do it. And Dame Duty Dench in the chat asked, "How am I going to sleep tonight?" Very good question. Very, very good question.
Like a baby tossing and turning every 5 minutes.
Wait, what's that? Like you have a paradox that you until you go to sleep. Oh, now I'm fucking stuck thinking about that goddamn one. The answer is math. It's got to be math, right?
Obviously.
No, I'm gonna stop thinking about it because I'm gonna get real lost real hard. I did have another one, but we've already been bullshitting for like fucking 10 minutes already. So let's move into something else. Hang on, one last one in the pat. The Reverend Puck. Remember my other favorite conspiracy theory from Red Dwarf, that the second gunman on the grassy knoll was an alternate timeline JFK sent to kill JFK. That's a good one. I remember the one that I love the most is the Mandela effect. You aware of the Mandela effect, Max?
I mean, it's everywhere.
Yeah. So yeah, the idea is that the principal is named after Nelson Mandela. There's many believe that he died when he was in prison, and then there's obviously he came out of prison, didn't die in prison. But there's all it's based in misremembering, right? The idea is that these are things that they swear to be true, but we all just misremembered because the human memory is one of the most unreliable things ever. Because everyone's recollection, everyone's comprehension, everyone's perception is completely different. But I love it. Exactly. And Reverend Puck, the Avril Lavigne isn't the real Avril Lavigne. The one we heard earlier with the Katy Perry's just John Benet Ramsey. And then there was Paul McCartney died X amount of years ago and they replaced him. The other one I like is the Hadron Collider. That when it went, it threw us into an alternate timeline, like the darkest timeline. That's why everything's kind of fucked. And I do like that one because that does make a lot of sense because everything is kind of fucked.
I like the way we as humans will just blame anything.
Yeah.
It's like, that's why it happened.
Yeah, because our brains can't comprehend the absolute entropy that is the world of this galaxy of life. So we need to find reason and pattern. Speaking of reason and pattern, let's get into the section we talk about what games we've been playing this week. Max, you talk about misremembering. Time is horrendous for memory. Like how you remember something, a month ago or 2 months ago, let alone 10 years ago.
Yeah, as you're alluding to, I have been playing Destiny 2 The Final Shape.
Yeah.
That is all I have been playing this week. I cannot put it down.
So big thank you to Felicia and the team for providing us Max the review code of this. It was one of those things when I reached out to her, I was like, look, Max has such a boner for for Destiny. He's been playing Destiny longer than he's been married, than his kid's been alive. This is the longest shit he has ever done, apart from date his wife or now wife.
Yeah.
So okay. Before you dive into the specifics, Max, big question, kicking it right off. Has Bungie stuck the 10-year landing?
They have exceeded all expectations.
Is this a rose-tinted nostalgia sort of feel, or
fucking nailed it?
All right, now this is where you get to go have fun.
So basically, this is obviously, as we alluded to, the culmination of 10 years of what they're referring to as the Light and Dark saga. So over the past 10 years, we've been playing our Guardians. We've been getting the light powers that we started with, the Void, the Arc, the Solar. Later in Destiny 2, we gained powers of the Darkness, being Stasis and Strand.
Not to be confused with Kojima games.
And this is the culmination of that, which led to what they revealed to be prismatic classes, where we have now become one with our light and darkness powers. We have full control, full mastery over them. Therefore, we can use both light and dark powers at the same time. So, it is restricted. You can't just pick anything from anywhere and be like, this is what I'm going to do.
That's disappointing.
You get a selection of grenades, you get a selection of melee abilities, and you get a selection of five different supers for each of your classes. I have finished the story twice now. I completed on my Hunter first, followed by my Warlock. Titan is my least favorite class. I've left it to last. I will get there. Each new class got a new super in this expansion. The Hunters was the weakest in my opinion. It's very PvP focused. Essentially, it's a new arc skill that allows you to throw your dagger, you teleport to that point, and then you spin around like an idiot and smack everything around you. It's crap. It's terrible for PvE. Absolutely useless.
Excuse me.
Warlocks basically got a new solar ability, which just juices them up, and they can spam their melee and their grenade abilities. It's broken as very good. Titan's got the coolest one. They now throw void axes at people. It's fucking great. Your teammates can then pick up those void axes and then throw them at people too. So it's fun for everyone. Throughout the story of the Final Shape, they kind of finish off everyone's character arcs, from you as the Guardian to all of the different, all of the Vanguard leaders, so Zavala, Ikora, um, I'm having a blank, Crow, and Nathan Fillion's character, who I
Cade.
Cade, thank you, and Cade's stories all come to an end. They go deeper into their personal stories as we try and overcome what is the Witness preparing for the final shape. Was essentially he's going to put the universe into a form of stasis where you're not dead, but you're not alive. Everyone's just existing in a moment. So there's no pain, there's no suffering, there's no happiness. Everyone's just there. We don't want that, so we're stopping it. So it culminates at the end of the at the end of the campaign. It's like, hey, you fight the big bad, you weaken him, and it's like, go do the raid now. Once the raid's done, we will unlock the final campaign mission. Raid day happens. This is the longest raid ever in Destiny history.
In terms of like how long to complete?
Yeah, it took them 19 hours and 10 minutes to complete the raid run on race day.
Okay, so just to clarify, so when you say like you as an average person, it wouldn't take you 9 hours. You're saying people, because you have to learn how to play it and like go through it. So
they had to work out all the mechanics of the raid. They had to work out where everything was, and when a new raid comes out, they put on what's called contest mode. So you are the weakest you can possibly be. So everything's over leveled. So it's harder.
So if it took 9 hours for someone to cross the line,
19.
Sorry, my apologies, 19. Now that people know how it works, if you were to run it, what could you do it?
It's significantly quicker.
Yeah.
So for instance, the Last Wish, which was was the longest before this at 18 hours. To do it now takes about 30 minutes with a competent group.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Once you know the mechanics and know your role, things are very easy to do. It's the working out and the trial and error of the raid day plus. Now contest mode is over, so your gear and your power level matters. So you can be over leveled, therefore you will take less damage and do more damage. So everything's a little bit easier.
Right.
So it was beaten, and they're like, hey, as soon as you logged into Destiny after the raid was beaten, they're like, hey, we've got a new activity. It's the final campaign mission. It is a 12-man match-made thing. Normally 6.
I was gonna say that's a lot more than normal.
6 players for a raid, 3 players for a normal strike mission setup. So twice the amount for a raid.
How did it run with that many bodies?
For the first 20 seconds, hot garbage. like no joke. For the first 20 seconds of this activity, I was using abilities. They weren't coming out, but they were going on cooldown. Nothing was happening, and then all of a sudden, everything caught back up, and it was fine. It was great. You have this experience where you fight the Witness again, being the big bad guy at the end.
Isn't the Witness the name of the big thing you hang at? No, that's not the Witness.
It's the Traveler.
Thank you, the Traveler. Yeah.
So the entire DLC of the final shape takes place in a location called the Pale Heart, which is inside the Traveler.
Okay.
So we are now balls deep in the Traveler. The areas of the Pale Heart are absolutely stunning. There's so much diversity between the areas. They kind of all have their own subsections where there's like a greenery section, which is really bright, vibrant. And then as you see the Witnesses' pollution take over, there's like this venom goo all through everything as it's trying to take over the Traveler, because the Traveler is essentially the creator of everything in this universe. So they're using the Witnesses using its power of creation to create the final shape. So yeah, in my opinion, they definitely stuck the landing. The stories hit hard. Learning more about the each of the individual Vanguard leaders, you kind of hear their backstory and what they're willing to sacrifice to, and what they have already sacrificed to get to where they are now. You have this lovely moment between Cade, who has been resurrected, and it could be from the Traveler, it could be from the Ahamkara's wish from the previous season to get Crow in. and they have Crow and Cade have this moment where, for the longest time, Crow has been acting as the hunter vanguard for Destiny, and this is Cade saying, "No, my time is done," and they have like the passing of the cape, and he's like, I'm done. My time's done.
Well, technically, his time was done about 3 expansions ago, but that's cool. You know, it's the end game moment. You got to bring everyone back.
Yeah, that's it. Well, they had their big Avengers moment as well. So, you know, at the back end, you see everyone come in. So all of the alliances that you've made up until this point, they're all flying into the final shape. They're like, "Hey, we've got you. We'll cover the trash mobs. You go after the boss. We've got your back." And they have that big Avengers moment. All the ships come in. Oh,
was it was it an emotional moment for you? Because you're someone that doesn't really get emotionally moved by games often.
I mean,
I'm someone that'll cry at the drop of a hat in general, and then you find a good game.
I mean, it hit me, and like I said, they really nailed this expansion. They've completely outdone themselves, and they've gone to a completely different level. And then at the very end, you have a shot, depending on, you know, if you played it solo or in a group, you have a shot at the very end that's just you and your fire team sitting overlooking the Traveler, and it just pops up with Latin for "thank you for playing." It's a great way to end.
Did you get to experience that with Noodle?
Yeah, so I played through the entire campaign with Noodle the first time.
So for those who don't know, Noodle is Max's mate, a mate of mine as well, who he had done all of Destiny.
I've been playing Destiny with him since the very start. My second playthrough I did completely solo.
Get a nice screenshot of just you looking at the.
I haven't done the 12-man thing yet. That's the other thing I've got left to do, but yeah, it was really good. Obviously, we've still got what they're calling episodes now.
So you've shifted a little bit off mic. Just
we've got the 3 episodes of this year. Echoes starts tomorrow, which is awesome. So last night, at time of recording, they Bungie released what they're calling the journey ahead. It was a little 6-minute video of what to expect this year. So
nothing. We're done. Go away. We have marathon to work on.
So, you know, they covered what's next, which is Echoes, which is essentially when the Witness was destroyed, memory fragments, or echoes as they're calling them, split across the universe, and they've left a power vacuum in the universe. So big bad's dead now. Who's going to take over now? So they're the first up is we're heading to Nessus with Echoes, and the Vex are playing silly buggers. Something's going down. The following season after that will be focused on the Fallen, called Revenant, which will be episode 2. And we're going to do all fun stuff with the Fallen and do all that crazy stuff. And then the last one being Hive. They're going to take us back to the Dreadnought. And then they back end it with so that episode was called Heresy, I believe. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, hey, year 11, Destiny 2, codename Frontiers. And that's how they back end it. That's it, just one screenshot of this is what's coming. With the journey continues 2025.
But it's done but not done?
Apparently not. So
are they John Farnham? Like, are they? What's going on?
One last time.
Yeah, one last time again.
So it leaves me very excited for the year to come.
Fuck, that was a specifically Australian reference to everyone, by the way.
So if they can keep this level of storytelling and gameplay throughout the year in this episodic format, big win. Absolute big win. Yeah. That's what I've been playing all week. It's fucking smashing Destiny.
Well, for me, obviously, I played Destiny 2 a little bit at launch, but like not really enough to make a substantial dent. For whatever reason, like I really enjoyed the gameplay, but I think I was just too undiagnosed ADHD at the time and never played more.
It's a super good time to get back in. Like, obviously, a lot of the earlier stuff is sunset. Like, you can't play the original Destiny 2 campaign anymore.
Well, yeah, that makes no sense. But
so when you jump on, you'll be power level to level 1900 is the base at the moment.
So how does that work from a storytelling perspective? If I can't play the Destiny 2 campaign anymore?
Well, you can. It'll just skip you ahead until where we're at now. I think you can play the last two. I think First Light is the kickoff point now, which is where you get stasis.
Okay.
But I mean, if you just want to hang out with your friends and play a really good shooting game, like
that is very appealing because it is in fact a those things. But...
yeah, it's just one of those things.
But yeah,
I was lucky throughout my time playing it. Like, I played launch day. I had one disconnect over my time, and it was hilarious. So we were mid mission. We had just beaten a boss. It's like checkpoint gained, and we're like, cool. We start following the quest marker. We run through the door. We're like, oh, this is cool. Run through the next door. Oh, this is cool. Run through the next door. I'm like, oh, this is fucking weird.
No one's punched you.
Like, no one's here. I haven't been shot at for 10 minutes. This is fucked. And then we get to a statue, and I'm like, oh, that's Thingo. And it's like, whoop, disconnected. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I'm like, I hope we don't have to do that whole fucking mission again. I'm like, no, we got checkpoint after the boss. We reload into the mission, go back through the first door, enemies everywhere. The whole level looked completely fucking different. I'm like, that's why we got kicked. The mission didn't fucking load in properly.
But yeah,
really good. I haven't tried the raid yet, but everything I've done, almost all the new activities. I've done most of the new stuff. I've gotten all but one of the exotics. They've added what is now my new favorite exotic that I never take off. Essentially, it is a sniper rifle, and when you land precision hits, you get to just use the Hunter Super Golden Gun.
That sounds very much you, by the way.
And it synergizes with the Hunter exotic Celestial Nighthawk. So instead of getting 3 golden gun shots, you just get one shot that's 5 times as powerful. So I'm just popping golden guns for days. It's so good. I haven't had this much fun in Destiny since probably back in Destiny 1 when I was like raiding with my friend group every week on a Tuesday, and like it's been every spare moment I get, I'm turning Destiny on at the moment. Like it's back. It's got me back. And like I said, I was really worried that they weren't going to be able to stick the landing. Like 10 years of hype and storytelling to build to this epic conclusion, and they really did fucking nail it. Well, because they really have.
With it, like, obviously, the only thing we have an equivalent is Avengers. Like we mentioned Endgame jokingly earlier, but it is the only closely comparative, investment of time. Like we've had obviously franchises of games that have existed for 10, 20 years, but from a one huge continued story like this, or at least not in this way with expansions, etc. That this is the first and probably last of its kind, because I don't see anyone else be able to replicate this.
Yeah. Like I said, over the 10 years, there were some highs, but there was some lows.
Yeah,
like
it did seem quite like schizophrenic, and like it was either one or it was just like absolute chaos.
Yeah, it was literally it literally was like every other expansion was just not for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've really outdone themselves with this finality to their 10-year game.
But yeah, as I was saying, like for me, obviously not playing it myself doesn't really tickle my interest. But what I'm getting a kick out of is you and you're experiencing it, right? Because you said you've 10 years of your life dedicated to this one thing, and I'm so glad to hear that's paid off for you. That you can leave happy, or well, not leave because there's more apparently.
Yeah. Look, I'm so glad I didn't come in like it's fucking wasted 10 years of my life.
Yeah, that's and like that in itself is a good thing. There, as
it was very, very good.
As I've passed 10 years of the PopC as of 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? So this is something I've done for 10 years, which is insane. You know, so there's very few things you do for that long apart from either potentially being married or having a kid. There are very few things that last 10 years. Like jobs don't do that anymore. You know, there's not much in the finality and the finite time that is life. Very few things make that distance, and I'm very glad that you've got such a good kick out of it. But yeah, no, that's so good. All right, so let's get into the only thing that I've been playing this week is the Elder Scrolls Online. So I think I touched upon it last week a little bit. So I've been playing Fallout 76 for about since the show came out and since I finished it. Myself, a good friend Craig, and my housemate Ange, the three of us were just decimating Fallout 76. Craig and I mostly. And I got to a point where I was wanting to do more multiplayer focused stuff. 76 is great, but it's missing some of the things that I feel would make it a really good shared experience.
You couldn't get the party questing working. Correct.
No, so if we were to walk into an encounter, only the party leader would be able to grab on in any of the achievement or the completion of said task. Now, I may have buggered it up somewhere. I don't know. Couldn't work it out. It was shitting me. Didn't want to run the same thing more than once. That's stupid. So and I was like, oh, well, this, you know, but what I love about Fallout is I love the world. I love the lore. I care about it. Makes it fun for me to engage with. Well, let's do that. But for Elder Scrolls, right? I love Elder Scrolls. You know, a couple of times you and I have mentioned a handful of times that wanted to play it together and stuff. I'm like, well, let's fucking do it. Right now, there is no major game that is singing to me that I really need to check out. Let's jump into this. So I picked up the base game, which I've had it for a little while. I had it on PlayStation, but I picked it up on PC. Craig picked it up. We started playing. Tons of fun. We've created because obviously I've got side characters that I've made to sort of experience myself.
You got side pieces.
I got side pieces. So in terms of my characters that I have, so I have what was his name? The main character that I play with, Craig, he is a high elf dragon knight, because I'm a basic bitch who likes a good bit of sword, shield, and fire action. And their character's name is Cedric Ballenrod. We just Googled a good high elf name, and it kind of sounds like a penis thing. So it's like, you.
They thought Cedric it would be a great elf name, did they?
Yeah, apparently. No, it's Ceddrik.
Oh, double D.
Yeah, that makes it fucking fantasy. And then Craig is playing a wood elf. No, he's playing a Khajiit. My apologies. He's playing a Khajiit because his character is just my partner's cat.
Because Khajiit has wares if you have coins.
Yes, so he made a anthropomorphic version of my partner's cat, whose name's Charlie. The character is named Charlie the Chonk because Charlie is a chonky boy. And as is the character that Craig has created. He is, short, but he is a rotund. He has the most little dad pot belly you've ever seen. And he's like a sorcerer, so he's kind of dressed in lovely green robes with big guts hanging out, big honking sword, and he's a healer because Charles, the cat, he's a healer. He's a healing cat. He's very lovely. So that's fun. That's pretty fun. So we're just playing the base game for that one, the base realm, and that's cool. That's exciting. I did have access to one of the other ones. I grabbed, I think it was Somerset. I got it for cheap through CD keys because obviously I play Dark Elves in pretty much every Elder Scrolls game I've ever played, and that realm in ESO is kind of where the Dark Elves hang out. I think it's Vardenfall or something. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll go check that out. So I have a character who's over there. He's running around. Oh, that's well good. So in near perfect timing, because I did not re-engage in Elder Scrolls Online knowing that there was an expansion coming up. It was just pure coincidence. then in my inbox pops up an email from the PR team who handles Bethesda here in Australia, Power Up, and they're like, "Hey, who's anyone interested in checking out the Gold Road, which is the latest expansion?" And I was like, oh, I did just dip my teeth back in. Let's give it a bill. Fuck it, why not? Let's see what they've got for me. Whole kerfuffle. Only kerfuffle because I'm playing through the whole Bethesda net. I'm not playing through Steam because you and I had this discussion last time for last DLC. I'm playing through Bethesda net. They give me a code. My assumption is it's just the expansion code and it's for Steam. I'm like, shit. So I emailed back on, hey, full disclosure, I'm playing over on Bethesda net. You've given me a code for Steam. Is it possible for me to change the expansion code to the Bethesda one? Because I don't want to claim a code for the expansion if I can't use it. They come back to me and they essentially go, hey, put it in Steam. You'll be fine. And then you can just log in through your Steam account. I went, all right. Well, because I know that you had some trouble trying to get your accounts across because you had the base in Bethesda net, and then you had the expansion.
I have everything in Bethesda. I own all the way up to Elsewhere, and I have whatever the previous one was on Steam.
Necrom.
Yeah, so I've got from start to there on.
I think you must just be missing Somerset.
No, I have Somerset.
Whatever. There's one between Elsewhere. Oh no, it's not. My apologies. No, Elsewhere then Necrom. No. You are. That's right.
I've got all of them because. Tell you why. For ages, I was apparently a fucking ESO Plus member that I kept forgetting to. So I had all this premium fucking currency, and you can buy the expansions with in-game currency.
That's pretty sweet.
I just bought all the fucking expansions.
Excuse me. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know, like, and credit to the team, Jaden. He goes, hey, let's give it a try. I'm like, okay, I'll take your word for it. I log in and they have very kindly gifted me the Gold Road Deluxe Complete Edition, which gives me everything. So I'm like, well, that solves that problem now, doesn't it? So I emailed back being like, hey, I didn't put the code in because I didn't want to claim it in case it was just expansion. Holy shit, thank you so much. Boot it up, jump in, build a new character, because if I'm going to jump into this expansion, I want to give it a completely new taste. I don't want to finish what I'm doing over here because it's an MMO. It's going to take 1,000 years. I'm going to start something new. So I have created a brand new character in a brand new race in a brand new class that I've never touched before in my life. So I have created a Nord Templar. I don't know. I picked a Nord. Apparently, they're quite versatile. I was like, cool. Apparently, Dark Elves are better, but I've already played them, so I went with Nord. The Templar would just seem like fun because I don't normally pick Templar. I normally pick standard. Didn't want to do a Sorcerer because like healing or like magic at a distance doesn't really. I like to get up in and just like bullshit. And at least with the Nord Templar, I could still be really proficient in like double-handed compared to just relying solely on casting. So I created that, and I named the character after doing another, Nord name generator. I now have a character named Magnus Waffle Stomper, which made me laugh really hard because I'm sure people that know what a waffle stomp is, right? So you take a poop in the shower and you smash it in the drain with your foot. So when that came up as a pre-generated name, I'm like, dear God, that is his name. So Magnus, which means big waffle stomping. So I then did the tutorial area. Just wanted to make sure I got to pick because you go to the chamber where you get to pick. So then I went off. I went into the new area, which is called West Weald. Now I'm pulling this up from the website just so I can make sure it's correct. So it's the home to the city of the wealthy Colovian Imperials and the city of Skingrad. It is a bountiful region that was first originally seen in the Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion, but is now sort of got a bunch of Daedric shit in it because, very similar to Oblivion. There is a Daedric prince who has come to do all kinds of chaos in this area. Now, Oblivion was the first Elder Scrolls game I ever played on PS3, and I think probably one of the first games that I put an ungodly amount of time into. until I save locked myself because I was in a cave, and as I entered the cave there was a minotaur and he just fucking socked me, and every time I could there wasn't enough time for me to load in, turn around and get out without dying, so it's just this loop of death, and it was horrible. I was really sad about it. Yeah, and so I haven't put a lot of time in it as of yet. I'm talking minimal time. So the area that you come into, the premise is that what used to be this lovely rolling farmland out of nowhere has become this honker of a forest. Wood elves and stuff have moved in, and it's become this whole tumultuous thing. That's about as far as I've got, because I'm just exploring and having a good time. And it obviously had work today, and the code came through. I got the resolution of the code stuff this morning. Long weekend is now Tuesday, time of recording. Cool. So I'll tinker with that over today, and probably the rest of the weekend, probably even the weekend.
It turns out that last time I logged in on my Steam for Elder Scrolls Online, I must have linked my Bethesda account, because according to Steam, I own all the DLCs.
Oh, well, that's good to know.
Except for the Golden Road.
Fascinating. Well, maybe Max, because look, in hashtag influencer fashion, I am having an impact. Obviously, I wanted to play this. Now Craig's playing it. Now my housemate Ange is playing it. Phoebe, someone who has very rarely played games in her entire life, she's jumped on board. She's made herself a character. So she's going to come and join myself and Charlie the Chunk as we go adventuring around Tamriel. So that should be fun, because we obviously have to, we're learning it. She's learning it, like, not just the game, but how to play mouse and keyboard and how to play an MMO. So that's going to be a whole different experience.
Why don't you just make it easy for her and let her play on a controller?
We could do that. Oh, that's a pretty good idea. We could just plug a controller in, couldn't we? I might just do that. I'll just give her a controller. That might help. Yeah. So I'd be keen to play more of that. Obviously haven't done too much, but
I may or may not be downloading it right now.
Yeah. And then on top of that,
although I can't join you for the new stuff.
No. Well, because I got other characters I can mess about in. If you want to come mess about in Varvendell or Varvenfall, whatever it's called, more welcome to. I'm party. Yeah, my good mate Blair and listener. He was like, so you playing ESO? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, man. So he's come and joined up as well. We played a little bit last night. He's a Khajiit as well. Yeah, and it very similar to Fallout 76, which also, we'll talk about a little bit later, got itself a huge DLC announcement, which has me very, very excited. I might have to go back. It's tickling something in my brain again. We discussed this last time, and I haven't had an MMO that's made me like this engaged since DC Universe Online on PS3. So aside from playing it with my friends, I spent a lot of time playing it by myself as well. So,
what's this, Tezo or DCE?
Elder Scrolls.
Yep.
So I'm finding myself playing this by myself. Like, I'll play a little bit before work. I'll play a bit on my lunch break. I play a little bit after work. And then Phoebe comes home from work, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I guess I'll do this, and then I'll probably play a bit later. And then now that she's involved, she can play as well, which is great. And I haven't quite worked out what it is about it that is tickling my brain and making it very happy. And I think it is, but I do think it's part of that, like, because the missions themselves are all kind of fetch questy, right? Go here, do that, go there, do that, come back over here, which is, very great, simple repetition. And I think it's the same part of my brain that enjoys, like, farming simulators for their repetitive behavior is getting the same interest here. And, I'm enjoying doing the loot grind. Like, I'm enjoying hearing, like, I kind of skip through a lot of the dialogue, but, like, mostly because I'm just, like, lazy. I want to get to the next bit. But I'm like,
it's one of those things, like, I do find that it depends on the MMO as to whether or not I get invested in the story or not. So obviously, over the course of my many years of playing MMOs, I played Final Fantasy 14. I played Final Fantasy 14, A Realm Reborn, when they kind of rebooted it to what it is now. I've played World of Warcraft. I played Guild Wars. I played Guild Wars 2. And of them, and, like, obviously there is a bias here. Final Fantasy was the one that stuck with me the most. It was the one that I found to have the most engaging story, where I wasn't skipping cutscenes, and I found myself to be. But I find with Elder Scrolls Online, and although I like the world and the world building they've done in their solo playing games, I tend to be less invested in the MMO. I'm playing the MMO because I'm playing the MMO. I'm not playing it for its story. I'm playing it for its gameplay, as opposed to all that other stuff. So I can relate as to you going like, I just want to get to the next bit. Like let
but like I say that like I'm skimming what comes up in the conversations I have with you, and I click every answer, right? Because I want to know what the answers are, and I'll skim it and I have a listen. I'm like, hey, cool, yep, cool, get the beats, and then move on forward. Obviously now, for review purposes, playing Gold Road, I am paying more attention. Because I'm like, oh, this is, for a review, I don't be like, what's the story like? I don't know. Like I want to pay attention to that part. But yeah, so obviously a lot more to say about that. And yeah, it's tickling a part of my brain. Max, you're welcome to join. Obviously you don't have the Gold Road expansion, but I'm sure you can piss fart around in something else for funsies.
I might log in and be like, oh, I still have a ton of in-game currency. I'll buy it.
You may just be able to pick it up, because I'm only like level 6 or something, so I'm like super, super early days. So if you want to come mess about over there, you're more than welcome to. But that was something that I'm keeping an eye on, because as I said, like there's no major games right now that are like singing to me that are making me want to go, and apart from this, and I think it's just because the gameplay loop of this is making me very, very happy. But let's jump in the chat and have a quick look. MGB says, I got a code for it on Steam and it's on Xbox Game Pass. Guess all Team PopC to be playing. Yeah, pretty much like all of us are playing it, which is great. And so this is on a complete side note, more a philosophical conversation than anything about Elder Scrolls Online. It's very interesting. I have moments where I kind of realize that I have quite an impact on the world around me, and I shape it to my need in a lot of ways. I'm like, I want to play Elder Scrolls Online, and then all my mates are like, yeah, that sounds good. I'm like, sweet, I got what I wanted, which is really, really bizarre. So yeah, I guess it's just one of the things I think about. Not like a main character sort of syndrome, but in like I do find that it's very fascinating that I tend to make that happen sometimes. Not that I think I have, anything massive to do, say, or change. MGB goes, do you get some horse armor? I do. So because of all the deluxe edition that I was very kindly gifted, it gave me all the mounts that have ever been available as part of the DLCs. So the one I got now, one that came with the DLC, it's like a scorpion tail with like goat legs and like a lion. So I think it's a chimera or a manticore. I think it might be a manticore, and that's the one you get with it, like for the deluxe edition, and it's kind of fucking cool. And the fun part is
like a fucking battle tiger or something.
Yeah, well, that was the other thing, right? So one of my great stories already, because MMOs, the game's great, the stories are better. So Craig and I are playing. He buggers off to go do some mission that I've already completed because I just run faster than him. I'm like, fuck off, whatever, come back. He's a cat. He comes around the corner. Here I am riding this giant battle cat. And he stops, stops in his tracks, and you see him kind of like turn and look at me and then go, well, you know how offensive that is to me as a cat? And as like organic moments like that is what make MMOs incredible, or multiplayer games incredible. What else we got in the chat? MGB jumps in and goes, God, now all I want is Quake Champions on console. There's online game Trinity. That'd be pretty sweet. Weirdly, I've never been an MMO guy, he adds, but I kind of want to get into some of them. Like Fallout New World, now it's coming to console, and Final Fantasy 14, maybe ESO should be on my list on games. I need to play along with them. I think you have to care about the world. Right, and that's the big difference. Like, why I love DC Universe Online is because I'm a big DC fan. So knowing that I can run over here and have Batman as my mentor, go see, Red Tornado over there, or, go hang out with Black Lightning over there, or do these missions for Hawkman, and go to Metropolis, and then go to, wherever.
Sorry, I zoned out halfway through because I was having a conversation with my wife, and I came back to, I'm going to go hang out with Black Lightning. I'm like, that's a really weird character in Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
And I realized you're talking about DC.
Yeah, so like those things I care about. So dicking about in Gotham, I'm like, oh sweet, here's Ace Chemicals, I find all these locations that sing to me. And ESO, like the Elder Scrolls thankfully has a world that I care about because of years of playing Skyrim and Oblivion specifically because they're the ones that I played on console. Yeah, but when I tried to play World of Warcraft and it didn't land. Like fantasy doesn't always win for me, but yeah, because I tried to play WoW, couldn't care.
I mean, WoW and Final Fantasy especially come with the extra baggage of you have to pay to keep playing.
Yeah, that part's poo too.
It's yeah.
But yeah,
Not only do they charge you $100 for their fucking expansions, they also charge you $30 a month just to play the game, which makes it hard, especially when like the likes of Guild Wars 2 is free. Elder Scrolls is.
I think wasn't Guild Wars 2 like one of the first big MMOs to go free?
I think so. But like, you know, granted, Final Fantasy at the moment, I think you can play the first 2 or 3 DLCs for free as a trial character. You can get to like level 60 or something, which is
pretty crazy.
A lot of fucking content for free.
Yeah. All right, well, it's been a lot of content. We've been talking for near on an hour. We haven't touched upon any of the giant news that's happening this week. So let's get into the section we call Inform the Players. We tell you about what happened this week in PlayStation. First up, though, Max, we're not getting to the showcase stuff just yet. Let's get the incidentals out of the way, and then we'll get into the showcase. What do you got?
All right, so as we alluded to in the
bullshit?
In the bullshit and the conspiracy theory part, there are no stars for you. PlayStation Stars, a rewards program on PlayStation 5 and PS4 that lets users earn points, digital collectibles, has been completely inaccessible for the past about a week now. Players began getting errors when clicking on the PS Stars icon on the phone app, and now, as of I think it was 2 days ago, the button's just gone completely.
Let me do a quick check while you're chatting, just for confirmation.
It means nobody can complete PlayStation Star campaigns, redeem their points, or earn collectibles. Gaming forums like Reset Era and the PlayStation 5 and the PS Stars Reddit have been discussing the issue, trying to obtain answers from PlayStation support. With the best response the company can muster up being that engineers are looking into the problem. Some users speculate the removal may be related to an imminent update. The program still cannot be used on consoles, for example, but access to the entire program isn't usually taken away for something like that. So a lot of the theories online are the Days of Play sale is out. It's their biggest sale of the year, and they're like, we're going to disable people getting points while everything's on fucking sale and everyone's buying all their games.
See, I think this is... from a conspiracy theory standpoint, that does make a lot of sense, right? Like, you know, inhibit the amount of points, whatever. But this should be the perfect time to incentivize Stars. Because Stars is opt-in, remember? So not everyone is set up for it. It only supports the hardcore of the hardcore, and they're going to buy games anyway, right? So all that does is it creates more revenue for you. The amount of points that you get are inconsequential comparative to what you have to spend. For me, I like all the little trinkets. Where's my trinkets at? Where's my Shuhei? Where's my Spooderman? Where's my Leviathan axe? You know, where them? All the time and effort that I didn't really put into it, where is it at? My conspiracy theory is ideally that they're releasing either a standalone app, which doesn't make sense because there's not enough to support a standalone app, or console integration. However, there has been nothing to indicate that that is the case. Now, you, Max, you don't actively go into Stars. You just kind of grab them.
I kind of go in every month. I don't give a shit about the collectibles. I go in and claim the ones that give me points.
Yeah.
I do them because they're mainly play one of the fucking PlayStation monthly games. I'm like, well, I'm going to do that anyway. I may as well get 50 free points. Or 100 free points, or whatever the free points.
My favorite's the ones like, play any game. I'm like, yes, I will.
So, yeah.
Ideally, it means that something else is coming, but we'll wait and see on that. All right, let's get into the next bit of news. Max, premium freebies. As part of the Days of Play, which we were just discussing, the following PSVR 2 titles will be free to download for the premium tiers, which is deluxe for us here in Australia, or premium if you are in the outside of Australia. And these games include Before Your Eyes, which is a really cool VR title where time progresses when you close your eyes. because it uses that foveating rendering and eye tracking, which would be funsies. Ghostbusters Rise of the Ghost Lord. I did some of the trailer. That looked a lot of fun. Synth Riders sounds like a bad cartoon. The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners Chapter 1 and 2. Apparently an exceptional VR title, or titles I should say. Big one. I want to check them out. And Walkabout Mini Golf, which I'm not too sure about. But Max, before we dive into these games, let's keep the PSVR chats going, because this week, in Summer Game Fest, everyone is announcing cool games, great things. You know what PlayStation announced? A breakout box. Yeah, get excited. So Sony's announced that it will be launching a PSVR. I lost my spot. We'll be launching a PSVR 2 adapter that allows the VR headset to be played natively on PC. On the 7th of August 2024, and it will be costing $49.99 in British pounds or $59.99 in US dollary dues. US freedom bucks. We're dollary dues. Connecting the device or PC using the adapter will allow you to play your VR games through Steam, I should say, like Half-Life Alyx, which is the one that's in the graphic, which tells you that it's never coming to VR, PlayStation 5 natively, along with thousands of other titles. With the adapter, you will need to provide your own DisplayPort cable that's compatible with DisplayPort 1.4, as well as a Steam account and a capable PC. So you have to make a Steam account. You got to give them some on your data. I'm gonna complain on Twitter about it, because why the fuck should I have to make an account for something that I don't want to? Meh. You're all fucking crybabies. There'll be a PSVR 2 app that you can download. What? And you'll need the Steam VR app. What? Also, quote, this will allow you to set up a PSVR 2 on your PC, customize your settings and play area, and start purchasing and playing games in Steam VR, end quote, according to the PlayStation blog. When playing PSVR 2 on PC, however, HDR, not there. Headset feedback, not there. Eye tracking, also not there. Adaptive triggers, guess what, Max? It's not there. And also haptic feedback in general, not there. Quote, while the most immersive way to experience PSVR 2 gaming remains on PS5, we hope players will enjoy the ability to play an expanded lineup of VR games on PC using the same headset. Sony added in their blog post. Pre-orders will go live through the direct website as well as selected retailers. As of right now, I don't believe there's anything in it here in Australia, nor of any price points. But for $60, that's going to be a $90 dongle, just so you can plug your thing into a PC.
Just so you can play modded Beat Saber.
Yeah. I can assure you that I'm going to totally talk to PlayStation Australia and be like, hey, because that's a lots of dollars.
I know that, hey.
Yeah, that's the same hey you send me when you want game codes. All right, Max, VR. You know, we have shared custody of one. It lives here mostly because neither of us touch it.
It's because last time I touched it, I almost spent too much money buying a fucking tabletop simulator for it. Like, or whatever it's called. It's like this close. I'm like, I can play fucking D&D in VR and like roll. Yeah, dangerous.
That's dangerous. Don't know about that. But yeah, look, it's great that it can now be on PC. This room is not spec'd for VR at all. There is shit everywhere.
This room is beautiful for fucking VR.
Yeah.
This room is great.
Well, my lounge room is fantastic. But in here, because I've got the lights set up, I've got boxes of shit from when I moved in. It's a hot chaos in here. If I could do seated VR here, no issue at all. Well, except for all the shit behind me. And it would be fine. It is interesting that there is so much that this breakout box can't do.
You mean everything?
Apart from just using it like a screen that you can strap to your face.
It also, like, I didn't put it in here, but if you look at the thing, it also requires fucking Bluetooth 4 or better. Yeah. Like, there's other necessities.
So I don't even know whether my PC has fucking Bluetooth.
Mine does.
Because I don't remember installing. I don't remember, like, getting a dongle. I hope it's on the motherboard. I assume it is.
I have a Bluetooth adapter on my motherboard.
I'm going to have a quick squiz. There is a Bluetooth logo in my Bluetooth devices.
And you're fine.
Open settings. Can I confirm what number it is? Not easily. No, I can't. But I do, in fact, have Bluetooth because apparently wants to talk to everything in my fucking house. Oh my God. Oh dear God, I'm talking everything. Yeah, so my belief, if you want to make conspiracy theories again, is that this is essentially them going, yeah, we're not supporting this anymore, eh?
Mm.
Are you in the same boat? What's your thoughts on
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, they're like, we know our library sucks. It's not going to get any juicier anytime soon. Here is a way that you can go and play over there, but still use our shit stuff.
Yeah, which I appreciate because like my PC is pretty honking powerful. I'm not going to buy another VR headset for it, but I can just plug the PSVR 2 and then game. That would be cool. That'd be sick. I could play Fallout 4 in VR. That would be cool because that never came to console. And Skyrim VR looked like a PS3 game on PlayStation VR 1. So I assume it's pretty poo. And as most PSVR 1 games did not get upgraded to PSVR 2, I have a lot of games that are stranded that I kind of enjoyed. But also...
Keep talking, nobody explodes.
Yeah. Also saying that though, I haven't gone back and like played Horizon or anything, so... You know, maybe it's not all bad. All right, let's get into the big honker of the show, Max. Let's get into that that old showcase, the Summer Games Fest.
All right. Well, first off, I got a bit of a news story about Summer Games Fest before we jump into the announcements. So, this is from a piece from the Esquire entitled, quote, "Is Summer Games Fest the best thing to happen to gaming or the worst?" It provides all kinds of juicy information about the event, according to, quote, multiple marketing professionals. The report alleges that the going price for Keighley to show a trailer at Summer Games Fest will run you around $250,000 for a minute, $350,000 for a minute and a half, $450,000 for 2 minutes, and $550,000 for 2.5 minutes. If you add up all those 1 to 2.5 minute trailers aired during last year's Summer Games Fest, those price levels could translate roughly into about $9.65 million. Esquire does understand that this year's pricing scheme aligns with last year's ad time request for the Game Awards. While that might seem like a lot of money to many consumers, what's quite interesting is that Esquire spoke to PR pros during its reporting. They said that, quote, these trailer premieres are worth the spend, but they noted that the current pricing tiers make Summer Games Fest an unattainable goal for most indie developers and publishers. Kotaku did some additional digging and found that not every trailer comes at a cost. Big reveals from companies like Sony are apparently played for free. A select number of, quote, free slots are reserved for
Kojima exclusively, because him and Keighley kiss.
That's reserved for earned editorial placements and are provided to smaller non-AAA games and studios.
Look, as someone that now works in marketing I know the cost of ad spend. And it's fucked. But like what they've said here is fine. Like what people play for Super Bowl advertising, people play for Grand Final advertising, WrestleMania. Like I'm aware of the pricing for a fucking WWE pay-per-view or what it costs to be a sponsor, to have an ad spot. It's crazy. But it makes sense. It's eyes. Yeah. And if you want eyes on your shit, you have to spend money. However, I am very aware that the overall inflated cost of shit in general is insane. And the conventions themselves are getting pretty reamed as well. Like we saw this with the likes of E3 just straight up cancelling because it's too expensive. And no one cared for anymore. Like PAX Australia, we've looked at the last 2 years, like excluding this year, obviously, where people are being priced out. Like the big three aren't there. Well, they weren't there last year, I should say. Can't confirm this year because I have no idea. They weren't there last year. They weren't there the year before, really. Well, actually, sorry, Nintendo was there last year. Because ReedPop, the people behind it, have jacked the fucking prices post-COVID. Like, that's not new information. It's incredibly expensive. And then, so they have to then pay for everything that goes with it, all the rigmarole, and then the exorbitant cost on top. Like, I was chatting with someone I know, right? And one of the banners, when you walk through PAX in that, foyer area, is $50K. Just to put it on there. Not to the printing or whatever, just to have the spot. Like, marketing is incredibly expensive. And especially in a world of individuals that are ad adverse now. Like, you've got to pay more to get in people's faces. So, like, I understand, like, the average person, like myself included, who will never see millions of dollars in my entire lifetime. I'll be lucky to see tens of thousands of dollars in my lifetime. I can understand why it's quite like a big shock value, but it is part of it. Is it worth it? Well, I guess so. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it, right? It's one of those things where, once again, very similar to PAX or other conventions. You know, PlayStation as an example, they saw the writing on the wall, and then we're not going to do E3 anymore. It's not cost effective for us. We don't have to do it. We're not going to do it, and that means here, there, anywhere, we're not going to do it. What about yourself? Like, how do you see this?
I mean, I wasn't shocked I actually find that to be on probably the cheaper side of,
Yeah.
if anything. It is a shame that it does really price out a lot of indie developers and indie publishing stuff, which is a shame because that's they need
the showcase more than anything.
They need it more than the big guys because, let's face it, PlayStation can throw shit up on their blog on a fucking random Tuesday afternoon. Everyone knows about it within minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas, you know, old mate, single person dev team working out his garage could have this, you know, uncut gem that may never see the light of day because.
But statistically, he doesn't. Just saying. I love a good indie game like anybody else. However, just the cynicism in me on that one. But absolutely, you're bang on correct. It does price out. It even prices out small scale studios. Like, you find me a small scale, you know, like, let's just say even an upper class indie, right? Like, let's use an example. Let's use Massive Monster with Cult of the Lamb. They could do it now because Cult of the Lamb made a stack of coin, but prior to that, you know, they had Adventure Pals and a couple other little games. Nothing to get that level of finance. Like, I think they had Devolver behind them, which helped, but
yeah,
it's kind of insane.
We're
in the juicy part.
Let's get to the good stuff. Let's talk announcements. All right, so these are I've listed it in two parts. So these are like the PS5, PS4 confirmed announcements from Summer Games Fest.
Is this everything, including like Xbox, or is that separate?
Yeah, this is separate. There's another
beautiful
list that's saying non/unconfirmed PlayStation.
Okay, beautiful.
So these are the confirmed PS5, PS4 stuff.
So we'll go through them one by one because we'll chat about them.
Lego Horizon Adventures.
So
PS5, PC, and Switch.
Oh, so that's the interesting part. Lego Horizon Adventures coming to non-PlayStation things, but not Xbox. Fuck you, I guess. Which is very, very funny. Especially if it's a Lego title, you'd think they'd want to go everywhere, because most Lego titles go everywhere. But the rumors of the Horizon game getting a Lego version, true as shit.
False. Clearly
false. I want to play the hell out of this game because I like Lego. I like Horizon, so it's perfect for me. And best case scenario, it leads to more Lego sets that I can build because the tall neck was a stack of fun. It's a game that I can play with my son, which it makes it cool as well. And I think it really works. Pardon?
It is local co-op.
It's got local co-op, which it's interesting how this ticks a couple of the boxes of the rumored Horizon games in the works, like multiplayer. Check, it's in here. You know, a remake. Well, technically, it's here. Technically, is this the remake? Maybe. I think we talked about this like last week before. You know, so like we had alluded to possibility of the rumor that this is the remake that everyone has been talking about. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, I do think, the world of Horizon fits because it's you versus big monsters, and you pull them apart and you scrap them for parts, and you use those parts to build new things. Perfect for Lego. Perfect. What about yourself, Max?
Could not give two fucks.
Why? You have a tall neck. You built it. You love Lego. I've seen your Lego Harry Potter castle.
I love Lego.
Oh.
The Lego games have been hit and miss. Loved Lego Drive. That was cool. I recently bought the Harry Potter years 1 through 7 Lego collection.
You did?
To play with my daughter. And that's just not happening because apparently it's too fucking scary. Instead, she decided to play Paw Patrol Save the World for the 7th time. The kids got 100% completion on it.
See, now you know. Now you can understand how my son played Spider-Man 2 so much.
At least Spider-Man 2 is a good game.
Yeah, that's true. It is a very good game.
Yeah, so the other... I'm just going to quickly go off on a tangent about this. So my daughter's like, can you come play Paw Patrol with me, Dad? I want someone to play with. Because she likes just playing like fucking cheesy and hide and seek and other shit. She hates... She's like, I'm bored with the missions. We'll do something fun. I'm like, okay.
It's like Goose Game where we just go and like mess with it.
I can't sit down. She's like, muy bien. I'm like, since when do you speak fucking French? And she's like, our tracker says it. I'm like, okay, cool.
And then
glad you're letting...
Yeah, and then in that case, it's Spanish.
Isn't muy bien very good?
It might be, but
Tracker
is he's Spanish.
Look, I don't know, nor do I really care.
I'm like, oh, that's the wrong pop, Max. Like, I don't fucking care.
I really don't. I could not give two.
Is there a French dog?
Is muy bien even fucking French? Or am I just... No, it's Spanish. It is.
Yeah.
So Tracker is correct.
Yeah.
Because
he's a Chihuahua.
Is he?
Yes.
I don't know. In the game, he's a fucking pirate because my daughter's dressed them all up.
What are you saying? Pirates can't be Chihuahuas? They can't be Spanish?
Oh no, pirates can be Spanish.
Well, there's only one way we can find out, Max. That's where you play the next. Let's play the next game. We can do a bunch of cool weird shit in the world.
No. But yeah, no. So Lego Horizons doesn't do anything for me. I played the original Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yes.
Yep. Forgotten Shores, just whatever the next one was.
Forbidden Wilds.
It was the DLC for Forbidden Wilds. It just didn't do it for me. I don't know what it is.
Wait, that was the DLC. What the fuck was the second one called? Was it called
Forbidden West? It was Forbidden West.
Forbidden West.
Forbidden West. Why are you
There's a
green?
big tusk right there.
Why are you green?
No. Fun fact: my cam link pooed itself, so I'm borrowing Ethan's, and sometimes this one I had to rejigger all the settings, and it's not perfect.
Okay, calm down, Hulk.
I'm like, boo. Yeah, keep going.
Getting angry because he couldn't remember what the fucking Horizon game was called. Yeah, the second one just didn't do it for me, so I still haven't played it and finished it. I got like a third of the way through the game. I'm like, making it Lego is not going to make it more appealing to me. So I'm just fine.
Yeah,
I'm super stoked that it exists for those who are going to enjoy it. It's not for me.
That's fair. Absolutely fair. What is for you?
Next up we had, these are not in order. I found a list online and just went bang bang, kind of just threw them in there. So next up on my list is Civilization 7. Turns out I was right. This is the big one coming out of 2K. We're not getting another Borderlands or anything. It's Civilization. Coming out, so I should mention, Lego Horizons is out this year.
Yes, it is.
Civilization's out next year, coming to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, PC. I think it's coming everywhere, pretty much. I'm a huge Civilization fan. Civilization 7, no-brainer. Gonna love it. I would imagine it's just going to look prettier, be more of the same, maybe cranked up to like 11 or 12 now. A little bit more on the tech tree, a little bit new units, new leaders, all that fun stuff. Love Civ.
Never played it. I've always been keen to because it looks fun.
I think it would be too slow for you.
Probably.
I think you'd lose interest real quick because games go for like 4 hours.
Yeah, because that checks out. Thank you for understanding me, Max. I appreciate that. Because like I do love like RTSs, like Age of Empires and stuff, but it's not
pretty hard with it too.
Was that?
Because I struggle pretty hard with it too. Because you have to play to the slowest player. Because although you all take your turn simultaneously, some people it take fucking longer than everyone else.
Lame.
Some people get up to get fucking drinks on their turn, and then you have to wait.
Yeah, I forgot it was turn based. In my head, it was like an RTS, like
No,
I'm like lame. All
right. Next up, Harry Potter Quidditch Champions Day 1 PlayStation Plus Essential Title coming September, whatever the first Tuesday is, 3rd, 4th, 1st, whatever it is.
Yes.
Fucking thank you.
Yes.
PS1 Harry Potter Quidditch World Cup was the fucking GOAT. Okay, it's gonna be sweet if it's anything like that, and it's free.
Yeah,
free.
That's a big win. So, I've talked about it in the.
What about this way? Basically, where we didn't give them Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy was massive success. Let's give them just a Quidditch game. Fuck it, let's go.
Yeah. But is it being made by Avalanche? No, because it's not being made by the same peeps.
It's being made by
like some random. Because so while you do that, so as I mentioned last week, I think the week before, like my son has been playing a lot of Hogwarts Legacy at the moment, and for him, he just wanted to play until he got the broom so he could fucking fly around.
Unbroken Studios.
That's right. Yeah. What's their track record? I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
If you click on their fucking website, it's just Harry Potter.
So my son just played Hogwarts. He got the broom, so he just fucks around on the
Suicide Squad.
They what? Sorry.
They apparently work on Suicide Squad.
It doesn't help them.
Co-developer for Suicide Squad.
Yeah, they're a support team for that.
They also did Fractured Lands and Fantastic Plastic Squad.
Not looking promising, but that's cool.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah, I'd be keen to how to play this. I think it'd be fun. It's something if it's free, quote unquote.
Hopefully, it'll become my new Rocket League.
Yeah, that'd be cool. And I can play with my boy. He'd love it. He'd absolutely love it.
Cool. Next up, Alan Wake 2 is getting an expansion
DLC
called Night
Springs.
Night Springs. It's also getting a retail release because apparently no one would shut the fuck up about it.
Well, absolutely, which is absolutely true. Because like part of the reason that game didn't, I don't think, performed as well as they wanted it to is simply because they didn't release it physically. But yeah, so the Night Springs DLC is based on it's got the main chick from Control in it, but Night Springs is their Twilight Zone equivalent show in their series. So
really need to finish Alan Wake.
Me too. And like I saw this and went, oh, I gotta fucking play Alan Wake 2 more. That game's rules. So
it's still installed on my.
I haven't uninstalled it because I do want to go back to it.
Installed on my PC as well. I just haven't gone.
Oh, through Game Pass, no Epic, yeah.
No, I own it on PC. I bought it on PC.
Good, but yeah, that's an easy one. Yes, please.
Next up, we have Metaphor ReFantazio, which is the latest Atlas game. Had a gameplay trailer coming out October 11th.
Is this the one that looked really Persona but isn't?
Yeah.
Anything to say? Because obviously that's more for you.
I actually didn't watch the trailer for this one. I love Atlas games. I love the Persona series. I love the SMT series. This is kind of a no-brainer for me. I definitely think I'll check it out. It's coming in a nice-ish time at the back end when hopefully nothing else is coming out, but we'll see. Next up, we had Valorant, League of Legends 5-man hero shooter. It's coming to PlayStation 5. It has no release date at the moment, with a limited beta coming this week. I think it starts.
Is it a PS4 to PS5 port?
No, it's just PS5.
It's
a PC game. It's a PC game.
Valorant
is League of Legends Counter-Strike.
What am I thinking? I'm thinking of Apex.
Yes. Yeah. So that's cool. Next up, we have Black Myth Wukong. Got a new cinematic trailer coming 20th of August. Funnily enough, it has lost all its Xbox logos because apparently it just doesn't run on their consoles, so it has been delayed indefinitely on Xbox.
Wow.
It has become a timed exclusive through no fault but their own.
I love it because from like normally it's around like an agreement or an arrangement or whatever. There's like, no, we just can't do it, so fuck you, bye.
Yeah. Next up, we had Phantom Blade Zero. Still has no release date, coming at some point. Looks great. It looks like looks very soulsy.
So from a time standpoint, I'm just lumping these all together because we're not really talking about them a lot.
Yeah, no, a lot of them are very short, kind of. Next up, we have New World Adventures. Amazon's big take on the MMO New World. They're kind of remaking it a little bit, having a refresher, bringing it to consoles, coming to PlayStation 5 in October. Next up, we had Slitterhead.
Still swear it's a racial slur.
Coming from the OG creator of Silent Hill.
Yep.
Coming 8th of November, PS4, PS5. Had a gameplay trailer. Didn't watch it, did you?
No, because I forgot that it was coming. Because I remember seeing Slitterhead.
It leaked the day before.
Oh. I remember seeing it in I think it was the PlayStation Showcase last year, possibly the year before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that doesn't like. I love Silent Hill, obviously, and that game looks fine. So I wouldn't have rushed out to see it anyway.
Cool. Kunitsu-Gami, Path of the Goddess was next, coming to PlayStation 5 next month.
Yeah.
This is a Capcom tactical game. Looks interesting. Next up, we had Dragon Ball Sparking Zero with a release date trailer. It's coming the 1st of October.
So this one gets its own little timestamp because I assume you're excited.
Oh, I'm so excited for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero.
So out of this trailer, apart from a good release date of October 1st, not too bad, good date. What is there anything more that was shown? Something that tickled your interest?
So again, I haven't watched this trailer. I just know that it's coming out 1st of October. I have watched every trailer up until this point. So the last one was last week when they did the Fusion trailer. I'm a huge Budokai Tenkaichi fan from way back. I had the old 2D fighter on PlayStation 2. I played all the Tenkaichis on Wii. Love the Dragon Ball Z fighting games. They're good, and it hits me right in that nostalgia of playing as the characters. That super down for this.
I remember playing one on
has like a roster of like 180 characters at this point because they classify each transformation as its own character.
Nice.
Kind of scummy in my opinion, but
absolutely.
You know.
I remember playing like a PS1. It was like Raging Blast.
Yeah, we've got like 180 characters. 70 of them are Goku.
Yeah, what was the PS1 game? Something 99? Like something Blast? I mean, all I remember is I borrowed it from a mate of mine in primary school, and it was all in Japanese. It was very confusing for me as a 10-year-old.
There have been 40-something Dragon Ball Z games.
Jesus Christ.
That was Dragon Ball Raging Blast.
Hey, how's that for fucking deep in the memories? That was nice. Yeah. Cool.
After that, we got Sonic X Shadow Generations.
Mm-hmm.
I've completely fallen off the Sonic bandwagon.
I've never been on it.
I think the last Sonic game I enjoyed was Sonic Adventures on the Dreamcast.
I've never got the appeal of Sonic personally, and then of course the internet has ruined it, like they do many things.
Shadow is a very cool character, and I'm glad to see him come forth.
Oh, I want to see him in the movie.
Yeah,
but I don't want to see him in a game.
So Sonic Generations dropping 25th of October with PlayStation exclusive content.
Ooh.
Apparently, like deleted cutscenes will be in the PlayStation version and no other version.
Okay.
Yeah. Street Fighter 6, we are getting Fatal Fury alum Terry Bogard and May are joining the Street Fighter 6 roster in the next Battle Season Pass DLC stuff. So that's coming over the next 2 or 3 months. That's cool. Next up, we have Fatal Fury, City of the Wolves, coming to PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5 in 2025. I think they showed a trailer of some new characters joining the squad or joining the roster. Fatal Fury has never been my fighting game.
Never heard of it. Being honest,
I think it's the old school SNK fighter.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like, Terry's in Super Smash Brothers. Like Terry's pretty.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty well-known character. Yeah, so coming 2025. Next up, we had Monster Hunter Wilds. We got another gameplay trailer that was a bit deeper than what we saw at last week's PlayStation showcase.
State of play, wasn't a showcase.
State of play, yeah. Sorry, I wouldn't even call it a state of play, but.
Well, that's the thing. I wouldn't call it a showcase, so we can't.
Sizzle reel.
Oh my god! It's essentially just a Twitter, a YouTube mashup.
Next up was what I thought was the ultimate Betson game, Wanderstop. It's a fucking tea-making farming sim coming to PlayStation 5 in 2024.
Okay, that sounds pretty Betson.
So you grow your own plants and you make tea in a cafe. I'm like, that's so Betson.
That is really up. That is absolutely my bullshit.
It's posh British Betson.
Oh, I like that.
So that's coming this year. Skate with a beta coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 later this year. Still no release date.
I'm down for some beta action. Give me some Skate.
Yeah, apparently Skate's an MMO now.
Oh, that's cool.
By looking at it. So that's cool. I love Skate.
I did see a trailer this week from, I think it was the former team of Vicarious Visions, and they've made like a skate game, like a skateboarding game that is Tony Hawk.
Outlaws.
Yeah, no, I saw it, and I was like, well, we couldn't make more, but we're gonna make this instead. And I was like, all right.
That's cool. And we saw more Star Wars Outlaws.
Which obviously I'm quite keen for, but
It's not. Again, I'm not a Star Wars guy. I normally am in game form. This, however, is not tickling me pickle.
it's just seeming a little bit too generic for you.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna rip through these.
Some of these I know are coming to PlayStation, and I'll sing them out once.
Okay, so I'm just gonna start listing games, and we'll just grab ones that jump out to us. So these are the non-conformist. That's funny for me. The non-conform games. And that is No More Room in Hell 2. No idea. Cuff Bust. Never. That looked pretty cool. Once Human. Batman Arkham Shadow, which is shits me because it's an Arkham series game. I love the Arkham series. However, it's like Quest only. But it won't work my PS4 too if I plug in a PC, you sons of bastards. Tears of Metal. Delta Force Hawk Ops. Battle Crush. Project DOSA. Dark and Darker. Ooh. Rogue Eclipse, Mossfield Archives, Battle Aces, Battlesuit Aces, apparently they're different, Mars First Logistics, The First Descent, Khan. Yes, that's C-A-R-N, like cans, but not. It's like Khan, kind of. And Torah, The Last Song, Canyons, Unknown 9 Awakening. Now, you tickled your interest on this one, didn't it?
Yeah, so it's a Bandai Namco published game. I don't know much about it. I've watched like one trailer and not this one. And it had a really cool mechanic of like character possession, and it looked really cool. So it has my interest. It's coming later this year, I think.
Sweet. Fear the Spotlight, Stormforge, Killer Bean, The Simulation, Sleep Awake, Grave Seasons, Crystal Theatre of Idols, Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. Is it like that looked interesting from what I haven't actually watched the trailer, but like the conversation around it caught my interest because apparently it's kind of like, unless I misread, it's like you can have some fun with
the previous four games: The Simulation, Sleep Awake, Grave Season, and Crystal Theatre of Idols. They're all the Blumhouse horror games, I think.
That's interesting. And then finally, Shoot on Sight. So look, most of that is things I'm not going to care about, and that's fine. It's not made for me. And there's a couple of things early on that tickle my interest, but once again, like previous years, without a major PlayStation presence, Summer Game Fest ain't for me. What about yourself?
Yeah, there was some cool. There were some things that I was happy to say, like having Civilization come out of nowhere, awesome. Having a reveal on what was already leaked with the Harry Potter Quidditch game from way back. A lot of the stuff is just rehashing a lot of stuff that we already knew about. It wasn't as crazy as the next showcase.
Yeah, so do you want to jump on this one? You want me to keep going?
I'll jump on this. So,
all right, hang on, let me just get that timestamp. Let's go.
Monday morning, Xbox came to party.
And boy, did they come to party.
Now, they started this off so weird. So they announced that Xbox was doing their showcase, and then right after they were doing a Call of Duty showcase. But Xbox kicked off their showcase with Black Ops 6.
Yeah, the trailer.
When it was getting its own fucking showcase right after their show.
It was fine. Look, it's a little teaser, right? Like, you want confirmation that's coming. Look, it makes sense why they open with Call of Duty. And the reason being is they have spent all that money on the acquisition of ABK for this game. If you do not open your fucking showcase with it, what are you doing? Like, you've got a thing later, and now is the time. Max, as a seasoned Call of Duty player and a seasoned Black Ops player, did this do anything for you?
Yeah, they said round-based zombies are coming back. They're continuing the Dark Aether storyline, so I'm back just from zombies. I don't give a shit about the multiplayer or campaign for Black Ops 6 anymore.
Yeah.
I've never cared for the campaigns for the Call of Duty games. I'm too old to play competitive shooters now. I've tried it a few times. I'm still all right, but I'll just get like jacked by a kid who's like 13, who's like wigging out on whatever he's wigging out on, And my motor skills are just so fucking slow now.
Yeah.
My reaction times are gross.
I love that you've now met you've joined my baseline from about 15 years ago. Welcome. It's the thing that caught my interest in this is set in the 90s, 1991, because it's just after the Cold War ended. I like that because I've not really messed in the 90s. And what's beautiful about the early 90s, because it's kind of what led into obviously shows like the X-Files and things like that, because like that was the time where the populace, especially in America, began questioning the government. And the fun of Black Ops, it's all about unknown, confidential operations. So for here, it's like, well, it can kind of tie in with, the Cold War was a whole thing, obviously, and then that part has my interest. But will I buy it? No.
You don't need to. It's coming out on October 25th on Games Pass.
No, of course it is.
Next up, we had the Betson game Doom: The Dark Ages. As I've jokingly put here, looks crap coming 2025.
All right. This looked fucking sick. So, obviously, we knew about Doom: The Dark Ages. It was kind of not so heavily rumored. Not so lightly rumored, I should say. It was pretty fucking confirmed. Like, even down to, like, the medieval setting, fits the name, whatever. Opens, you got Doomslayer standing in a thing, big fur cape, very medieval-esque. Then he also then he grabs his double barrel, gets himself his shield that then becomes like a chain shield, so it's kind of a little bit OH&S major issue, but very similar, like a chain sword from like Warhammer or whatever. It's.
Sorry, apparently my LSD's kicked in because your background's like fucking purple and blue. And
oh well, it's more than fine for me. So. Who knows? There's a gun that you just cram skulls into and it shoots out skull fragments. Obviously the big noticeable difference for me is the lack of Mick Gordon. So we know that there was obviously they did 2016, incredible soundtrack, one of the best video game soundtracks you'll ever hear. Then you head into Doom Eternal and it was fine, but apparently their soundtrack was a bit messed. Major falling out. No longer there. This does feel a bit more generic metal rather than the awesome industrial unique sound that Mick Gordon can deliver. Still got to play it though. And as the MGB in the chat mentions, we get a big like mech, like a Doomslaying mech. There's a dragon we can fly at some point, and then there's the final shot is this dragon just vomiting fire into some other bigger hunkin' looking thing. Yes, please. I adore the Doom games, especially the newer ones, and I'm glad that this is coming to PS5 because I watched this through PlayStation Australia's YouTube account. Then I watched the showcase later that night, later the day.
Coming 2025.
Yes.
Next up, we had State of Decay 3 with a trailer for the next zombie romp. Day 1 Games Pass when it releases.
You a State of Decay guy?
I played State of Decay 2. It was one of those games where we're like, hey, we all have Games Pass. Hey, we all want to play a cooperative game. Hey, let's fucking play this. We played it for like a week and then we kind of bounced out.
So I originally got a code for State of Decay back in the day when we did, more generalist, games coverage. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a really good time with it because it's probably my first dipping my toes into a survival like game with like go collect this and you build your base and it was and for that reason is why it tickled my interest. So when I saw this, I was like, no, I'll totally fuck with this. And is that something that's going to come to PlayStation? Probably not yet. See, that's the fun part of this whole showcase is like, ooh, that's going to come at some day. I know it will. But yeah, look, that one looked very, very good and caught my interest.
Next up, we had Dragon Age: The Veilguard because they decided to change the name from Dragon Age Dreadwolf. This was a companion trailer, so it showed all the lads and lasses that you can party up with. It is apparently coming out this year.
So I played.
I believe there is a gameplay reveal tonight at time of recording.
Interesting. So I played the Origins, and it was fun.
Origins was the goat.
It was like it was really dense. It was like almost like a CRPG in a lot of ways.
Then number 2 was hot trash.
Yeah, I didn't play it.
And I could never get into Inquisition. I don't know why. For whatever reason, Inquisition just never.
Yeah, see, it's funny because just for context, like Dragon Age Inquisition was one of the big games that came out the year that we started PopC in general.
I mean, it won Game of the Year that year. Granted, nothing else came out that year, but it won Game of the Year that year.
Because it consumed Josh Saunders, former co-founder, former host.
I can imagine.
It consumed him.
Yeah.
So this. It's interesting because I really would have thought you were a Dragon Age person.
Oh, I am.
Origins, but
only of Origins.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, Inquisition never landed. I've tried like 3 or 4 times over the course of. Like, I own it. I'll install it. And I get to the same spot each time. I'm just like, I'm not feeling it. I bounce out. Next up, we had Starfield: Shattered Space, which is the new expansion set to launch later this year. Didn't do anything for me.
See, it's interesting. I'm like, oh, this looks really cool. Like, because it's the first one looked really cool, and it was funny. I was watching the showcase with Phoebe, and she goes, "Oh, I remember this game. Like, how did it go? Did it do well?" I'm like, "No, yes, like it, yeah, it looked nothing like the trailer that we saw." Because they set up in such, and I noticed one of the biggest mistakes that they did in the first ever Starfield reveal was showcasing combat. They made it look immaculate. Notice how there was like no combat in this trailer, like, and if it was cut really quick. So like no long runs, because when the original showed like really quite frenetic, twitchy based shooting, like, oh wow, if it plays like this, it's gonna be incredible. It doesn't at all. So it's very interesting how they've clearly made some conscious decisions based on the original reception. Will I play the DLC? Probably not.
Next up, we had Fallout 76 Skyline Valley. This is releasing June the 12th, and they also mentioned that next year you'll be able to play as a ghoul.
Yes, so a couple things here that are really interesting. So this is the first ever map expansion. So they've released things in the past, like there's that Atlantic City DLC, which is really cool, but you kind of just relocate to like a faux side thing, right? Like it's another location, but it's not an extension. Where here, this is a actual extension of the Appalachia area, which is intriguing. So the ghoul is interesting. Apparently, you can't play a ghoul unless you hit level 50. Which I think it's behind a level cap, which is interesting. The trailer for this I thought was really cool. It was really meta and self-referential in a lot of ways. Because the premise was that they were doing a telethon to raise money. It's for you to secure your spot in Fallout 76, and they said 17 million people have signed up to play to be part of Vault 76. So essentially, it's a legit play account. That's what they're going for. They mentioned of a new Vault 63, that will make an appearance in this new area, which is interesting. Having just come off Fallout 76, I'm like, this could pull me back. You've done some Googling there, Max. What have you discovered?
I don't know. I'm actually not Googling.
Oh. Looks like you were doing a Google. So, oh, what facts have you got? But yeah, nothing.
Oh no. Next up, we had Clair Obscur Expedition 33. This was the turn-based RPG that was this mix of what I could only describe as like Final Fantasy 16 meets Persona. So it had like the Persona style gameplay of being a turn-based RPG, but it had very realistic. It wasn't overly animated. It was very realistic graphics. It looked absolutely stunning. I believe it's from a French developer. Ben Starr, voice actor for Clive in Final Fantasy 16, is voicing a character in this. This looks amazing. It's coming out in 2025. Play it day one on Games Pass. Also coming to PlayStation.
Not an interest to me. This next one though gave me motion sickness.
Yeah, so south of midnight. This is my 1 second blurb. Gameplay trailer about an airbender and a catfish in 15 frames per second.
Yeah, so this was one of the two games that tried to do the Spider-Man enter across the Spider-Verse half skip frame rate. The gameplay itself is at 60, and the cutscenes are like 15. So that juxtaposition as you lurch from one to the other is just horrible. It makes you want to vom. And looking at it, like noticing that once you notice there's only the cutscenes, you go, why? Like the stylistic choice. Now, granted, so you don't vomit all the time, because if you play Spider-Man 1 or 2 with the universe suit, like it's a bit, like you're playing on the 120 frames, like it's a bit fucked, and it's kind of real lurchy, so I can't even do it. But this game also reeks of Forspoken.
Yep.
So I'm like, double no.
Next up, we had World of Warcraft: The War Within, launching August 26. This is obviously the latest expansion of World of Warcraft.
The fun, not my jam either. The fun part about this, I was sitting next to Fable. She's like, "Ooh," I'm like, "The game does not look like this."
The cinematics, well,
the cinematics are immaculate.
Blizzard
immaculate,
the fucking best cinematics ever.
Like, if you ever want to like be completely misled by what a game's trailer is, what a game is, watch any Blizzard clip.
Watch the Overwatch shorts.
Yeah, because you look, you go, "Damn, this game looks sick." You play it and it's like, oh.
Next up, we had Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
Dude, I was already keen for this because obviously
gameplay trailer.
Yeah, like these are shot for shot. Like, to the unknown production, the development team's credit, there's a lot of one-to-one work here. It looks immaculate. What I'm having a lot of fun of at the moment is looking at the discourse, I should say, on Twitter, around, because the game had this like green hue on it on PS2, because to hide a lot of the blemishes. Everyone's like, the game looks different. I'm like, yeah, because they can fucking make it real colors. It's an advantage. It's a feature, not a bug. Sea of Thieves though.
Yeah, Sea of Thieves. They gave us a look at what was coming in Season 13, dropping July 25th. I believe they said that you could play a villain. I feel like I'm always playing a villain when I'm playing Sea of Thieves.
Absolutely. That's the part that confused me. I'm like, I'm a dickhead most of the time. Like, what is changing that makes me more of a villain here?
Next up, we had Flintlock: The Siege of Dawn, coming July 18th on Games Pass. This is a roguelike, not a roguelike, a fucking Souls-like. This looks cool. It's by the guys who did, what's it called? Give me a second.
Oh, so now you Google.
Yeah, now I'm fucking Googling. The guys who did Ashen, I believe.
Okay.
Yep. Which is another Souls-like. Spoiler alert. This was cool. Really like the look of this. I'm a sucker for Soulsborne. So yeah.
What was interesting about this is because Phoebe's doing her very best to learn about games, because obviously it's such a big part of myself and my son's life. And she's watching. She's like, "What's a Souls like?" I'm like, "Well, that's a debate conversation right there. That's a deep one." Short answer is games that kick the shit out of you. She goes, "Oh, why?" I'm like, people are crazy. Then hard cut to this, and she goes, "I'm gonna play the fuck out of this."
Let her play Elden Ring. And next up, we had Age of Mythology Retold, coming September 4th to Games Pass. Age of Mythology was one of my favorite Age of Empires games. I'm fucking stoked that it's coming back.
Absolutely. And great name, by the way, Retold. Like, it's clearly a remaster slash remake.
Who'd you play?
I don't remember.
What was your go-to?
I
played the Egyptians, and I would just build a fucking army of Anubites, because they could jump over walls.
Nice.
I'd be like, you're a turtle player. You're gonna build some walls. I'll just build some units to fucking jump over them.
I think I played the Greek because I liked that I could just send a Pegasus to scout shit. Because it was like high enough that no one could really fuck with it. I'm like, I'm just gonna like get rid of all the fog of war. What's going on in Pegasus, and then come back, and then I lose. But yeah, I big stoke on that one. Not coming to PS5, I assume. Hopefully, it comes to my PC. Guess what? I'm probably gonna have to get PC Game Pass at some point.
Yeah.
Which is
I should point out. So, with Black Ops,
day one Game Pass.
It is day one Games Pass, but it's tiered. If you have basic bitch Games Pass, you only get the campaign.
That is so smart.
You have to have Ultimate to get the big boy multiplayer zombies campaign. Basic bitch tier will only give you the campaign.
Good. We'll talk about. I want to talk about Game Pass as a whole when we get to the end of this. So moving on.
But any tier level of Games Pass, you can buy the deluxe edition for $30, no matter what tier you're on.
Oh, that's pretty good.
So, yeah. Next up, Perfect Dark.
So this is from the Initiative. This is one that and Crystal Dynamics. Yeah. This one is believed to be in development hell for fucking ever. Looking at this trailer, I'm like, that's not how I remember Perfect Dark.
No, it looked like a Deus Ex game.
Whoa, Max! Like, I just realized Max sent me a photo of what my screen's doing for him. I look like I'm having a.
Why do you think it? I said that it looked. I think my LSD is kicking in.
Wow, that is very LSD.
You putting your phone up has now removed the pink hue from your microphone.
Well, that's good. And then a shot of him downloading Elder Scrolls. Good boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is not how I remember Perfect Dark at all.
No, that's not how I remember Perfect Dark at all. But it looks fucking great. There was no release date.
Yeah.
They did say it's coming to Games Pass day one, so it's fucking big win.
I look at this and I see like Watch Dogs level of potentially like this trailer looks garbage in terms of I don't believe anything that I'm seeing here. It kind of gave me some Dishonored feels in a lot of ways as well, but like in a more gameplay style where the vibe I got from this is like I guarantee the game does not play like this.
Yeah. Yeah, I got Deus Ex feels from it.
Yeah, actually Deus Ex is a much better comparison, I think. Yeah.
Next
but are you going to play it though? Because are you a...
I love it. My Nintendo 64 shooter was Perfect Dark over GoldenEye. I loved Perfect Dark. Hated the 360 version. Loved OG Perfect Dark. This I would like to play.
But you want to talk about things that get you all kinds of moist.
So, next up, we just had a fucking straight up body horror trailer for Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred coming October 8th.
What a fucking name, by the way. And I love it because it goes, hey, heads up, this trailer's going to be all kinds of messed up. I'm like, well, how messed up can it be? And then you see someone just get flayed.
One of the developers came out afterwards in a different interview and said, that was the censored version. We had a more fucked up version. We had to tame it down a little bit.
It's crazy.
Look, I'm a huge fan of Diablo. I'm still playing it at the moment.
Once again, the game does not look like that. Shut up, Blizzard.
No, it doesn't look like
the cinematic was fantastic, though.
Yeah, so I believe that is the opening. I believe they said that was the opening cinematic to the game. So you are following. Can't for the life of me remember the character's name, but she's essentially has one of the Arkstones, and Mephisto, one of the Lords of Hell, wants it back, and he's just fucking with her mind. So hopefully that means we're gonna go get to fuck up Mephisto, and I'm super keen. They're also adding a new class, which is cool. Sounds like a druid. I think it's called like the Spirit Guide Bearer, Spirit something.
Classic Spirit Guide Bearer.
Yep. Sounds like just a different name for druid to me, but whatever. Next up, we had Fable.
So very similar to the previous trailer we saw, which we'd had Awate in it.
Richard Awate.
That's the one. I can never pronounce it right. Richard Awate. This went in a similar tone.
Yeah, this had
And
Matt
Matt Berry.
King.
No, no. Someone said, I saw Matt Berry, and I'm like, no, I don't think that's right.
No, I think it was Matt King.
I
I
fucking
thought
wish it was Matt Berry.
Yeah, Matt Berry's hilarious. I love Matt Berry. No, it was Matt King, I think.
No. But yeah, very similar tongue in cheek, like British humor feel, which is great. Having never played a Fable game before, I saw this one. This looks sweet. And the story in this is they're talking about how the main character, everyone was like, she's hideous when the last trailer came out. She looks fucking fine. Everyone can't be shit. So the trailer of this was like, you know, this is the adventurer that I supported her. I was her mentor. She made all the wrong choices. And then it ends with someone walking in going, yeah, she's back, eh? Like, and then the look of fear in his face. I'm like, sweet. This is exciting.
No release date. It just had a set to release 2025, coming to Games Pass day one on release.
You know what game doesn't look sick?
I didn't mind this. So Fragpunk was up next, yet another 5v5 shooter, but it has like a card system where you can change the laws of physics and the game itself in between rounds.
Yeah, that card print.
It's nice. It's a little bit of a mix-up to make it just different enough from every other fucking 5v5 shooter.
The card mechanic is interesting. I like that. Game looked like asshole. It looked like fucking visual noise and like every generic ass fucking shooter ever. Like nothing about it is appealing. Even its name is garbage. Like that card, the card thing's its only thing going for it. You know what game did look really cool though?
I thought you would enjoy this one too. Next up we had Winter Burrow. It's a mouse survival game.
Yeah. So you play this little meese, and he's like, "Oh, I've returned back. I've gone be a big city meese. I've come back to be country meese. And my family home, it's empty. It's all pooey. So you got to rebuild your little family home, and then you've got to build a bridge to go see your little meese friends. And it looks awesome and adorable. I love. It's like cool little art style. Instantly a Betson game. MGB says something Moss. Yeah, there's a bit of Moss energy to it. Obviously, Moss played very, very different. Just because the game has a mouse in it doesn't make it a mouse. But yeah, stylistically, it's very similar to Moss. But on a more 2D cartoony space. Looks sweet.
Next up, we had Mixtape, which is a follow-up from The Artful Escape, coming 2025, day one, Games Pass.
See, I never played The Artful Escape, but this trailer was sweet.
The Australian team as well.
Hey. Because like this is the other one that used the half-step frame rate, but it worked.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they did differently. I can't articulate it, but it was different, and I liked it. I think it's because maybe it's a bit cel shaded. The music choices were cool. Streamers are gonna hate it, because that dear God is that.
I know what that is.
Yeah, dear God, is that gonna be a rough time?
Next up, we have Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. I was trying to work out what my own acronym was. I'm like, what the fuck is MFF?
So
coming November 19th, day one, Games Pass.
So this is interesting because this isn't an expansion.
Yep.
This is a brand new game.
Yep.
So they're continuing. It looked immaculate.
I mean, the current Microsoft Flight Sim looks immaculate. My computer barely runs it.
Yeah, like looking at it and like, you know, they fly over, you know, Uluru. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful. And then it's like, hey, you can do commercial flights. I'm like, ooh, boring. And then like you can like, you know, water crops. I'm like, slightly, but my kind of boring.
You're like, ooh, farming.
And I'm like, my kind of boring. Let's go. And they're like, oh, you can also do fighter jets. I'm like, lame. Yeah, like it's a very specific individual for Flight Sim, but it is amazing what those games put together. It's absolutely great.
Next up, we had Tezo the Gold Road out now.
Yeah, so it was more of a promotion for
the 10th anniversary.
Yeah, for the 10th anniversary, and I really like the
currently the other expansions are like free to use in game at the moment for
yeah. So all the DLCs are free for a short window of time, so you can go give them a taste, which is cool. The thing apart from obviously my enjoyment of the Elder Scrolls Online right now, I like the premise of this trailer and what they're saying, and because there's, you know, after 10 years, we're kind of going, hey, this Tamriel is for all. Come here, have fun. You'll always have a home. You'll always have friends. You'll always have journeys to go on. There's places to explore. Come be with us. And I'm like, that's a lovely, really lovely sentiment. and I got a kick out of that.
Next up, we had Life is Strange, Double Exposure, which is a sequel to the original Life is Strange game, coming October 29th.
This one was interesting because the idea is that your friend is dead, but you can switch between universes, which then allows you to go see them and the one that they're alive, but somehow that means that you can change what happens in your reality. Whereas that does make sense.
Next up, we had Indie and the Great Circle.
This looked sick, and I want to play it real bad.
It's coming 2024. Day one Games Pass. Yeah, I didn't watch it.
But it's not coming to PlayStation. It is pretty much confirmed for Xbox at the moment. So it's first person. So it's kind of like first person Uncharted, I guess. But because it's made by Machine Games, you get a lot of the feels of Wolfenstein, which makes sense because, you know, who knows how to make Nazis in games better than Machine Games. It's interesting. So Troy Baker, I would assume, is the voice of Indy. Can you... Because there was a lot of a Harrison Ford sounding moments, and then very quickly it became Troy Baker again. And the challenge of being Troy Baker is that your voice is so distinct that when it slips out of Harrison Ford light, it's quite noticeable. Did it list it?
Troy Baker voices Indy.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Yeah,
Cool. I want to play the poo out of it because only because I love the Wolfenstein games. Except the last one. Except Youngblood. Youngblood can eat a dick.
Next up, we had Mecha Break, which is a multiplayer mech game. Whatever.
Next.
Next up, we had Wuchang Fallen Feathers, which was the other Souls-like game. It's coming to Games Pass whenever it launches. We had Avowed. Got a new story trailer. Still no date. Day one Games Pass.
That looked sick, by the way.
So Avowed is Obsidian's new RPG. I'm pretty keen for it. It'll be interesting to see what they do. I still don't quite know what it is.
Me either. I have no idea what it is, but it looked great. And like that, I know it's old hat now, but the key art for this game, like that
pink Skelly Bob.
Oh my god, I want that on my wall. Like I would get that tattooed. It looks sick.
Next up, we had Atomfall, which is like an alternate timeline of what would have happened if some war that was won was lost.
How specific? Yeah, it felt like it did feel like Kmart Fallout vibes.
It was a reveal trailer. There was no date. Day one Games Pass. Assassin's Creed Shadows got a new gameplay trailer coming November 15th.
I'm not gonna lie, I straight skipped this one.
I so want to play Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Alright, well then what did this trailer do? Because I didn't watch it.
I didn't watch this trailer either.
Fuck's sake,
because I knew that it was gonna be tiny because Ubisoft.
Oh, Ubisoft. That's true. That's
true. Next up, we had Stalker 2: The Heart of Chernobyl, coming September 5th. Day one Games Pass.
See, this one was interesting because I thought it was Metro, like straight away. I was like, "Oh, is this Metro?"
Yeah, they're basically the same. I swear they're basically the same.
Yeah, they might as well be.
Next up, we got some new consoles. There's a 1 terabyte Series S. There's an all digital Series X and a 2 terabyte Series X.
Cool.
Big wins. And lastly, out of nowhere, Gears of War E-Day, the prequel game. They fucking youngified Marcus
Phoenix.
Marcus, thank you. I knew I was getting.
Is it Marcus or is his kid?
I think it's Marcus.
Because they established he's got a kid, yeah, but he's got the same like shitty.
No, it's a prequel game.
Oh, did they establish it's a prequel game? You've got it right there in the doc.
It has to be Marcus.
Okay, that makes more sense. Because I was looking at him like, is this Marcus Phoenix? But it looks too young. I know that the last game they had the kid. Are they just doing the passing of the torch style? But it does. He looks like a less meathead version of what he did in Gears 1. I tried to play
less of the Giga Chad chin.
Yeah, I tried to play Gears once, and it didn't land. But I can understand the appeal.
It's that action reload that was not doing it for you.
Yeah. All right.
I'm gonna keep going because I've got the Ubisoft Forward stuff open because I didn't put it in the news doc, and then I'll let you run through the rest of the news.
Oh
doc.
no, I was just gonna say let's talk about once again before we run into Ubi, because Ubi's pretty fucking easy. It's X-Define. Let's not touch upon it too hard. That's actually fuck it. Let's skip Ubisoft completely. We've
shown everybody.
We've been going into nearly 2 hours. I don't have fucking time to talk more about Ubisoft. So Max, what are your thoughts on this showcase at large?
It was so good.
It was fucking awesome.
It was really, really good. It was really, really good. It is what Sony, in my opinion, has needed for a very long time. Although it's showing stuff that, like, some of this stuff is brand new that we hadn't seen before. Some of it is rehashing stuff that we kind of already knew about. But they're showing big stuff that's not too far away, but that's just not right around the corner. It's giving us a peek into their future, but not so deep that we can't see it anymore. Yeah. So, like, they didn't bring up Elder Scrolls 6. They didn't bring out. They didn't
wheel Todd Howard out.
There was things that it's showing us what's coming in the next, what I would presume to be the next year. This is all happening very soon, and they didn't fuck around. They just kind of went bang, bang, bang. They stopped where they needed to add a little bit more information, but they just kept it going. And I think they placed their reveals in a very interesting way, where it kind of, it kicked off into big gear with Black Ops 6, and following with Doom, and then we kind of had a few of like the not so bigger showing in State of Decay. Dragon Age was a very small trailer. Starfield, although it's one of their new IPs, it's still not a super popular title, and they've kind of put in these smaller titles in between their big name stuff. Like, although it's weird to associate World of Warcraft with Xbox, it piqued everyone's interest, because obviously, WoW is a very big game. And then again, they back-ended that with Metal Gear Solid straight after it, and then they went down the list again and showed off a few smaller titles, and they brought you back with Perfect Dark, Diablo 4, Fable, and they dropped it back, and then they back-ended it with their big reveal of a new Gears of War. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
It was really, really, really good. They did such a fantastic job cutting all the trailers, putting them in the order that they put them in. It was fantastic. It really was.
I completely agree.
The whole showcase, I'm like, damn, I wish I could play these games. Like, obviously some of them are coming to PlayStation, and then most of them were back-ended with, they're coming to PC, they're coming to Games Pass. I'm like, cool, I'm going to get to play these titles no matter what.
So, for myself, I looked at this showcase and I went, this was pretty much fantastic. Like, of course it does. It's forever shadowed in the upset feelings of the loss of Tango and Arcane and etc. So that does taint it a little bit. However, for beat, this was a great showcase. In that, like, as you mentioned, it had its ebbs and its flows. It started strong, and then it came down a little, but not like a disappointing level. It just you couldn't match the expectation of launching. Yeah, so it launched with Call of Duty. Obviously, for many, it's a big one. Doom, big one. Comes back down, scoops back up with your Fable, and your indie. And then kind of comes a little bit down again, picks back up towards the end with your Assassin's Creed, and then just sends it home with a brand new Gears of War. And as to sort of go alongside with what you said, what we see here is they have done what PlayStation have failed to do, and that is tell you what's coming within the next 6 months. So right now, the amount of games that were listed in this showcase that said this is what's coming within this calendar year, where we know, aside from like Astrobot and now Horizon, like Lego, there is nothing within the PlayStation first party family that is coming this year, and then we also have fucking no idea what's coming out next year. We know that there's the potential, obviously we know Wolverine's coming at some point, and that's kind of it. Like PlayStation, to their, like, at a time, it was to their credit. Playing the cards close to their chest gave them an advantage, that they could drop something and it would be presumably huge. Now that the fruit of the labors of all these acquisitions are finally coming to pass with Microsoft, we're seeing it come together. We're seeing the plans of all these acquisitions. Will they deliver? We don't know yet.
Yeah.
But there's enough here that it should at least put the shits up someone to go pay attention.
Yeah.
One of the little subtle details that I loved is whenever they would go, you know, Xbox Game Studios presents, Bethesda presents. You know, like they clearly had that segregation of. I'm pretty sure they did get Game Studios for Call of Duty though. You know, they had the segregation of what is Bethesda, so they're not like shamelessly lumping in, you know, TSO, you know, Elder Scrolls, Fallout 76, Doom, etc., into their like bigger pile. Blizzard was also was named separately as well. Because one of the biggest issues that I've had up until this point, and I guess some of it may be present in what we're looking here, is we. What's the wording that I'm looking for? I lost my train of thought.
They didn't get incorporated into the machine.
That's right. Yeah, is that up until this point, Microsoft be like, look at Psychonauts, what an achievement. I'm like, motherfucker, you did nothing for that game. Where now we're getting... What was that?
Sorry, I was going to say, would you like some juicy information that dropped about 10 minutes ago?
Absolutely.
GameStop may have just leaked the release date for Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
Is that...
GameStop tweeted, prepare to slay in Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, where stealth and survival meet savagery, coming 17th of the 11th. Watch the trailer and pre-order now.
That is a Sunday, so I assure you that is not the date.
November 17th.
November 17th is a Sunday. Games don't drop on Sundays. Games drop on Tuesdays or Fridays. So even in the US, that would be an 18th.
This is from IGN. As someone pointed out, though, that November 17th date is a bit of an odd one, as it is indeed a Sunday. On the other hand, it would be fitting, considering it would mark exactly 20 years after the original game released.
Well, yeah, okay. Well, that sounds very speculative than if anything. But it would be nice to have a 20... Like, once again, in the world of digital distribution, sure. Drop whatever fucking day you want, I suppose. But that's up, yeah. So yeah, like that part intrigues me, is as I like that we're seeing what's happening, and that, you know, for the longest time the issue that I've had is that they've lumped in all the success, quote unquote, or the achievements of these other games that they've had nothing to do with, and even many of these they've not had complete involvement in. They've just owned them for part of that time. But I'm willing to give that little bit of understanding that these ones technically have been within the fold long enough that they could claim to these. My greater concern, and it's the same concern I always have, is that how the flying fuckhole is all these games being supported solely through Game Pass. Not all of them. Like, many of them will be coming across, which is fantastic. But in a world of Game Pass, on 2 out of the 3 potential platforms, people were paying $15 a month for these. They're like, either Game Pass prices are about to skyrocket, or none of these games are going to meet any sort of fiscal expectation. Because it's been long discussed of the financial viability of Game Pass, and we have numerous reports, you know, within, you know, part of the Apple leaks, etc., supporting that. Here, I wonder, like, yes, they had no choice but to double down. And I do like that the alteration to the tiers for Call of Duty is a great workaround.
So the last time we got numbers from Xbox of Games Pass numbers, there was 34 million subscribers as of February 2024.
Yeah. Cool. And like that's fantastic, but we're on the assumption that many of them have paid full price. Most of them probably paid the $1, right? And
that hasn't been in circulation for quite some time now. The old dollar review game pass.
I that's just me. I'm not going to sit here and repeat all the data. It's out there. I would like this to succeed. It's pretty great if it does. But that's the one thing that I worry about. But Microsoft had no choice. They've set themselves up in such a way that they can't step away from Game Pass. But if they're this tiered alternate, which is you get some over here, but if you get Ultimate, you get this. That's a great way to bump people up.
Well, I mean, that's not out of the ordinary either, because so the first Blizzard game that they released on Game Pass was Diablo 4. Is not available to Game Pass Core. It's only available on Game Pass Ultimate.
Which makes sense because it's predominantly a PC game.
Correct.
Yeah, and you can only
can
you get PC Game Pass or is it just Ultimate?
No idea.
Because I remember there being just a PC tier, but I haven't looked in a while. That's just me. We've talked about Game Pass to no end, so that's something worth worrying about. But well, let's touch upon from the PlayStation perspective. They should be worried. Not worried in the Xbox is going to suddenly sell more consoles. I don't see that happening. I think part of their Game Pass numbers might see an impressive bump. That would be cool, but from a long term, don't know. PlayStation from a public perception, there's a big old risk here because they do not look good compared to what Xbox have shown here. As you mentioned, we know now what Xbox are doing in the near future, so there's suddenly reason to know and care about what Microsoft is doing. Sony has still not delivered on that part. We're working on blind faith and the understanding of we think this game is coming. We know Wolverine's coming, and we know there was an allegedly a Venom one in the works from the Insomniac leaks. But outside of that, we're like, I guess, this person's doing something. Naughty Dog, they've been quiet for a, semi-while. Maybe, is that Sony San Diego Uncharted game coming? Oh, who knows? Like, speculation is fun until you hear nothing for so long. Is it getting weirder again?
It's fucking hurting my eyes.
What is it? What is going on?
I sent you another screenshot. I need to
So we're almost done anyway. But yeah, look, that is the concern, right? The Coast Class the chess was really cool when they had cool things to reveal. We had a state at play no less than 2 weeks ago, and it was fine. It was a really lackluster comparative to this. Like there's earlier in the show I mentioned, PlayStation had the luxury to be like, nah, we're not going to do E3 anymore because we won't afford it. They couldn't if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Because they have nothing.
Yeah.
All right, let us know what you thought of the showcase. Comments below. But it's now time to get into the quick bit so we can wrap this bad boy up. Live action Yakuza series is hitting Prime in October. That's a fucking quick turnaround, and how did no one know about this? That's impressive. Astro's Playroom has got itself a new update, which gets a bunch of new gear in there. So the DualSense Edge is in there, the PS Portal's in there, PSVR 2's in there now, which is awesome. And also new trophies, which is annoying because I got the Platinum, but now I want to get those trophies. Cult of the Lamb gets itself a new update, adding couch co-op, which allows you to play with a friend, but not Smash. Balatro is getting a physical release later. Didn't you mention the date here?
No, I don't have a date for it.
Exciting time. Next.
Yep. Coming soon. On the 11th of June, so today.
So games.
Rocket Knight. The games that came out today. Rocket Knight Adventures, Resparked on PS4, and V Rising on PS5. Coming out tomorrow, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night Classic 2, PS4. Roxy Raccoon's Pinball Panic, PS5, PS4. And coming on the 14th of June, we have Magical Drop 6, PS5, PS4. Monster Hunter Stories, PS4. Monster Hunter Stories 2, Wings of Ruin, PS4. And Shin Megami Tensei 5, Vengeance, PS5, PS4. That's it.
Probably the only one that interests you is Shin Megami Tensei, right?
Yep. SMT5.
Is that the one you were knowing me about earlier today?
Yep.
Alright, cool.
Yep. It was originally a Switch exclusive. It's coming to PlayStation.
Now, I know that I'm wrong, but I feel like V Rising has been out forever. Like, is there a game that has... Okay.
It was the vampire survival game on PC. It's coming to PlayStation.
That's what I thought it was. I was like, everyone's like, oh, V Rising's coming out. I'm like, isn't that fucking game out already? There you go. Let me do a quick look over the chat, because we did kind of get in the zone. Blair's here. Royal Rooster's here. It's a shame as I've also dropped off PlayStation since Game Pass and even PC now, which disheartens me a little. That's a shame. MGB comes in to clarify some things about the Ubisoft Forward, about X Defiance. It talks more about X Defiance specifically. Apparently, the 2 terabyte Xbox digital fucking Series X or whatever is $900 dues, which is kind of insane. And also they asked about Cyberpilot. Cyberpilot was also poo.
I mean, essentially, it's just the cost of a Series X with whatever their 2 terabyte expansion card is.
Pretty much.
Because I guess that's probably what they're giving you.
Yeah, essentially. But it's in the box, in the machine rather than external, I assume.
I don't know. Maybe it's just bundled.
Wouldn't that be insane? They're selling you this whole new thing. It's just a plug in the back. That would be so balls. Either way. All right, that does bring us to the end of this extended episode of the show. Big thank you, everyone, for coming in and checking out, sitting down with us for a little while. It was really good to be able to, like, sit down and go, hey, you know what, Microsoft? Doing a fucking damn good job. Like, not, we are most definitely, like, we have our allegiances, but we're, relatively impartial. I'm even doing hoping to do a panel at PAX this year about the console war, so that's fun too. But yeah, it was good. So, did you enjoy getting to sing praises to the other guy for a minute?
I mean, I'm a lot less. I sing their praises a little bit more than you do because I play a lot more of their games.
I don't know. I'm not biased. What gave that away? Everything.
ABXY forever. If only Nintendo and Xbox could fucking settle their differences and make them all the same.
Yeah, pretty cool.
All right, everybody. Should we
Absolutely
wrap this up before I fucking fall asleep? I gotta leave for work in half an hour.
Dear God.
All right, everybody. This PlayStation conversation happens every Monday morning at 8 a.m. on podcast services, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and 9 a.m. on those YouTubes. If you'd like to take part in future conversations with us, you can. Come and check out our socials: Facebook, Discord, Instagram, X. All of those links can be found in the description below.
If you want to join the conversation as it happens, head over to twitch.tv/thepopcultures. We watch us record this show live. We can jump in the chat and become part of the show. If you want to support the show, you can. Tell your friends, tell your family about this PlayStation Pod. If you're listening to us on podcast services, be sure to give us a 5-star rating and a written review. If you watch us on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I endeavor to answer every single comment. If you want to support us financially, you can at patreon.com/thepopcultures, as well as our merchandise to popculture.com/shop, where you can buy shirts and other assorted shit with our logos on it. But until next week, which, Max, would be our 350th episode?
Oh, really?
Yeah, we've done nothing for it. I'm Ryan Betson.
I wonder which episode it is for me. Is it 350 total or is it
350 total.
I can't even remember when I came in.
I'll have to, it was October of X amount of years ago.
It's been a hot minute.
It's been a while. Which is kind of insane. I remember like doing it. Was episode 300 where we got balloons?
I think it was 200, dude.
It must have been 200 because 300. We've been doing this online for a long time.
I think 200 was when Ali bought the balloons.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Because like what I've been separated from.
There you go. I've been doing at least 150 episodes.
I would say you've been. It's absolutely. I think 150 episodes is my. I'd say it's very likely you have done more episodes than Josh has. Maybe. You are now the longest running co-host. But until next week, I'm Ryan Betson.
I'm Max Cooper.
And that was For the Players.